Very good morning, everyone. This is Rajendran here, joining from Market Calls, and welcome everyone to AI Bootcamp for traders and investors. So this is going to be a very interesting journey for the people who like to convert their ideas into software tools, right? So it's been a lot of experience I had been gathering and still experimenting and practicing since the day ChatGPT released around November 2022 onwards. But something has been changed post, I would say, like January 2024 onwards. So we started building a couple of open source tools. And I mean, that had given us a staggering amount of confidence to build any of the ideas into software tools. So in this, you'll be seeing the complete journey about how, as an trader or an investor, how they can build their own softwares. So it could be your own trading dashboard, or it could be your own trading terminal, or it could be your own trading strategies. Of course, we're not going to talk much about trading strategies over here, but we'll be talking about automation, right? We'll be talking about building dashboards, or we'll be talking about building scanners, or so how to even a simple idea. Like if you are having some simple idea in mind, without writing a single line of code, how you can automate it, and how to understand these agentic tools, LLMs, RAGs. So all those modern technology, how we can make use of this, and without writing a single line of code, how we can build things. So that's what the primary idea behind this session is all about, right? So I hope you got the context right. So am I audible? Like if you can give me a quick confirmation. There's a chat box down there, and as usual, the session is getting recorded. And once the session is done, it will be posted automatically. You'll be able to receive in the same place where you are attending the session. You'll be able to access the recorded videos as well. And the recorded video access will be available uh, till your till probably some people would have subscribed for 1 year, or some people would have subscribed for 2 years. So according to your subscription limit, recorded videos will be available. And along with that, we also had provided an complimentary access to the basic Python course as well. So here also we're going to talk everything from the scratch. So throughout the series, wherever there are basics are required, we're going to go through the basics. But I would say like probably you can expect 10 to 20 percentage of this entire session will be filled with manual coding, right? Which means majority of the time we're going to spend time with AI code, AI tools to build things and to enhance things. It is not an yet another vibe coding session that you're going to see on the internet. We're going to build some serious tools, right? So and the tools which can impact a traders or investors journey, so which can make your automation workflow very much faster. So anything that you are trying to do manually, you can completely convert that workflow into an automated stuff. So that's what the primary idea behind this session is all about, right? And about me, my name is Rajendran. I've been trading these markets for quite some time, since 2007 onwards. I've been writing in market calls. Since then, I've been writing. And I do primarily code trading strategies. So I've been coding trading strategies in Ami Broker, TradingView, Python, Ninja Trader, right? So you name any, most of the popular trading software, I would be coding strategies in that. And most of my codes, I kept it open source. So most of my expertise is on building strategies, not on building softwares. I even never worked in any software companies also. Though we try to run a software company, and then I moved out of it. But now, as I said, after 2024, I started making my own softwares. So some of the softwares, one of the software that you might be pretty much aware about, that it is OpenAlgo, which is now 2.5 lakh lines of code. So not even a single line of a code is written by a human. And also the documentation part, everything, even the support assistance, whatever we are doing, we'll be using we are making use of the AI tools to completely we are completely making use of those AI tools to build stuff over here, right? So that is what we've been doing over here. Just give me a sec. Yeah, I'm sorry. And I've been using agentic tools to build algo platforms. Some of the tools which I personally use are Claude Code, and then recently I'm exploring GPT Codex as well. So Codex from GPT-5. So that's what my short journey is all about. There are a lot of stories to say, but let's cut short and then we'll move directly into the session, right? So the session prerequisite is very simple. We're not expecting anybody to be a coder, but everything will be taught right from the basics. The basic requirements are we need to install Python 3.10, or it could be anywhere between 3.10 or 3.13. The latest version is 3.14, which has been launched 2 days back, I think October 7, right? So 4 days back now. So it is recommended not to go with the 3.14 at this point in time. But yeah, so whatever that we're going to talk in this session, anyone who is having these version 3.10 to 3.13, it should be pretty much comfortable. And the AI models that we are going to use throughout the series are either we'll be using ChatGPT 5, Claude 4, 4.5 Sonnet, that is the recent model, and Grok 4, which is from Elon Musk, so from XAI. So these are the primary models that we're going to use. Of course, if you're using Gemini also, it's good, but I'm going to use throughout the series, I'm going to use ChatGPT 5, Claude 4, and Grok 4 is what I'm going to use over here. And the editors, what we're going to use is primarily we're going to use VS Code, but then I'll also show you if you want to use a couple of agentic tools like Windsurf or Cursor. I'll be primarily demonstrating with Cursor as well, either me or Kalivani. So Kalivani is my another colleague. She also now codes 25 to 30% of the OpenAlgo code is written by her. And the VS Code extension, what we're going to use is like a Client, Jupyter, and GitHub Copilot. And probably you also have to need GitHub, Git SCM installed because we will be pushing a lot of codes to GitHub. What are the code that we are trying to build? So we'll be very frequently, we'll be pushing it to GitHub. Every time we are getting a working solution, we will be pushing it to GitHub. So GitHub is like kind of a social media for traders. So, developers, we can say. Where we can push open source codes, or you can also keep your private codes as well, right? So it's not only open source code that you can keep in GitHub, private codes also you can keep it. And GitHub is owned by Microsoft, so it's a kind of a trusted, reliable stuff. So the end of the bootcamp, what the primary idea behind, or what is the end goal of this bootcamp is like, end of the day, you should be able to build your own software tools, and probably you will be having a lot of confidence at the end of the session to convert your ideas into your own personal software, or even it could be your own software product that you want to bring it to wide variety of audience, or you can prototype your softwares into 10x faster, right? So you can improve your productivity. So that's what the primary idea is. Maybe if you are already a developer and you want to fasten up your skills, you tried with some AI tools, you feel like the AI tools are not working for you. Maybe for small codes it is working, but when you're trying to build larger codes, it is not working. So then definitely this session will be helping you out in improve your productivity. It doesn't matter whether you are an trader, developer, doesn't matter. You can improvise your productivity 10x faster after the end of this session. And what you'll be learning is, we'll be throughout the series, we'll be talking about FastAPI. So FastAPI to build web applications, right? We'll be building a full stack web application. Means we'll be working on backend, front end, we'll be working on database, and we'll be building data visualization tools. We'll be building trading dashboards, and we'll be building we'll be working on top of real-time data and historical market data. And yeah, so we'll be also working on trade automations as well. We'll be building agents. We'll be working on top of database, vector database. And throughout the journey, you'll be learning a lot of basic prompting techniques. Not the basic prompting techniques which is told in the internet, but some of the common sense, like how we should interact with the AI models, right? Or how we are interacting with the AI models and how we are building stuff. So maybe to start with, I always start with this, right? So this is something maybe it could impress you a lot. So this is like toys.marketcalls.in. You can try this out. So this is an a simple website created in Python. So Python Flask was used. This website has been like 1 year old now. I mean, I'm not into selling any e-commerce product or something like that, but this is created by my 9-year-old kid, right? So she doesn't know anything about Python. She doesn't even know what is Python Flask, but she's able to convey his context, right? So whatever he want to convey, whatever she want to build, whatever she want to visualize it, she's able to build. So it's not a full stack application yet; it's just a front end layer. So you can see some cool websites, right? Now she's 10-year-old. When she was building, she was studying in fourth standard, right? So yeah, so now she is now studying in fifth standard now. Even though she doesn't has any serious interest in coding, like you may think, oh, this kid might be having a lot of interest in coding. She has zero interest in coding, right? So when she is having a zero interest in coding, even if I now ask my kid to, hey, come and learn some coding, right? So she will be hesitate and she'll say, like, I don't want to go and learn code, like so. So that's a kind of thing. So why I'm trying to say here is, even somebody who don't want to code, they can visualize, they can bring their ideas into into a website or a design or something like that. So maybe what if a serious coder can do, or what if somebody who is like 20 years or 30 years or 40 years or 50 years kind of people who are having a very strong domain knowledge, or who have a very good screen time experience in the markets, like what they can do, right? So the the thing that what we can build is something cool stuff. This is what we can build. And so yeah, throughout the series, we will be bringing a lot of small ideas, and we'll try to convert that ideas into simple softwares, right? So that a lot of iteration is what you will be able to learn throughout this series, so that end of the day, you should be confident enough to build whatever the things that you are having in your mind. You should be able to build it without learning or without knowing any single line of code. Knowing the code is pretty much important, but that is the basic things. Basic things we cannot skip. We'll be teaching the basic things as well. But do I need to go through each and every line of code which is generated by the AI tools? Not necessarily, but there are ways we can instruct the LLM models in such a way that we can smoothly able to build stuff, right? So we'll go through that process, but I also want to convey what the session is also not about, right? So we're not going to give any profitable strategies or something like that, which always we do in our sessions, right? We'll be building uh, softwares, we'll be building everything related to stock markets, but we're not going to build strategies. We're not going to do backtesting, right? So that's a completely different stuff. Probably we do it in Quantflow, but this entire AI bootcamp for traders and investors is all about any idea that you're having in your mind. You will be able to convert that into an trading tool, right? So your own personal trading tool, which could be assisting you on a day-to-day basis. And probably, I think, so maybe, yep. So I think a lot of things are not we are talking about over here, which is like we're not going to talk about uh, what I can say, like we're not going to talk about optimization. We're not going to talk about. We will be talking about trade automation, but we're not going to do any live demonstration as such. Yeah. So that's what is not covered is we're not going to build strategies. We're not going to do any backtesting or option backtesting. All those things we're not going to cover about it, right? So it's all about only we're going to build things. And how I am using AI tools, if you ask me, AI tools has been my day-to-day routine. So I've been using OpenAlgo. We've been building OpenAlgo. We've been building algo trading platforms. I've been using it for writing my blogs. So idea is mine, right? So the context, what I am want to convey is my mind, but the enhancement is done by the blogs. I'm not blindly writing the blogs, but I'm not saying like some basic blogs I'm not writing. So we are building trading strategies. What are the trading strategies that whatever I've been writing about it, I want to convey better. So for that, I'm writing blogs, even for writing the codes also. we've been using codes or strategies or any indicators that we are building. So for that also, even if I'm putting it that in blogs for explaining things better, we are using AI tools. For example, one of the recent tool which I have to build is this one. I'm not sure how many of you heard about RRG. So this is RRG, right? Relational rotational graph, which we used a Sonnet 4.5 model to create it, right? So the entire tool is created by AI. So I have to give prompting, and then I have to tell my own requirement. I have to get these things done, and this is a line of code which has been created, right? I haven't gone through not even a single line of code so far, right? So, but is the application is working fine? If you ask me, 100% yes. So we have to go back, test, validate, and ensure that the things are working fine. The things are working fine as per the expected requirements. And yeah, so that is one thing which I had done recently. And the entire blog is written by an AI. Not even the entire blog. The last 1.5 years, I think last one, not last 2 years itself, the entire content has been written by an AI, right? So means a human will be always in the backend instructing what to write, how to build the code. An instructor will be always there, so they'll be prompting, and we'll be getting an output. Maybe the initial output will be not satisfactory, but then over a period of time we'll be iterating, and then we'll be shaping up. We'll tell like what we want, what we don't want, and finally we get the uh, end output is what we will be getting over here. So I'm also using AI tools to generate my own images and videos as well. So I've been using my own platform. So this is one of the platform which I have to build. So this is like sketch.marketcalls.in, which I show you. Like I go and sign in with Google. Um, So this is my own digital asset management platform. Means I use this platform to generate my own blog images or even YouTube thumbnails, whatever that you are seeing. I had to build my own platform to create one. So and I'll be managing everything in my own personal gallery. Like these are some of the things that I have to create for my own blog images, for explaining ML models, right, machine learning models, or to promote the brands or something like that. To create all these are like YouTube thumbnails. Some of the experiments I have to do with that, and these are like my own images which I have to try it out. And yeah, something a little bit fun as well. And yeah, my kids also use it, so I love this tool. I use it for my own personal stuff, where we can interact with various image models. Probably you might hear about Claude Code and the Chat GPT and Gemini and all those things, but these are like image models. Similarly, for creating from text to images, so Flux and then ideogram, probably Imagen. So these are something which I would like to try out whenever I want to um, build any YouTube thumbnails or blog banners or something like that. Right. Later on that we'll talk more about it. But yeah, I also to validate facts, so to fact check. So there are certain times when some sort of news are coming up. So sometimes we may have to validate whether the news is true or not. So of late, a lot of news are circulating about weekly expiries that SEBI is going to remove it, but only we are getting the fear from the traders, right? But on a ground level, SEBI is not saying anything about it. But on a daily basis, some other way, the news medias are coming and playing such kind of stuff. So a lot of rumors are circulating. So sometimes to validate whether the information is true or not, for that purpose, I do use AI tools. And if at all I want to learn something faster, some a new concept that I want to learn, right? Not about trading, but particularly when it comes to building new softwares or something like new. Let's say I want to learn a new programming language like a Go or Rust or some other framework is coming, software framework is coming. So I want to learn faster. So then I'll be using AI tools to learn faster. Of course, these days, whatever the trading strategies that whatever we are generating are completely, we have been using AI tools only. And initially, the AI tool reliance is not there. I would say like barely, if you ask me around 2022, right? So let me go and explain this. This is around 2022, November 2022, right? November 2022. So probably if you used ChatGPT, that time we have like ChatGPT, that's the first time ChatGPT 3.5 was launched. Everyone got mesmerized. The whole world has to learn a new context, I mean, new product, which many people started adopting very much faster. That time, the code generation ability, right? So I would say like people got mesmerized because people never seen that you just give a text and then it generates code, but it's not able to generate code, probably like maximum 100 lines you can generate. That's what the capabilities around November 2022. How many of you use ChatGPT, like, by the way? You guys use ChatGPT, right? Or should I have to give an introduction to that? I'm sure that's not required, right? Yeah, so Ayan says like daily, Sriram says like yes, Akshay says yes. So how about others? I'm sure some other way we might be using ChatGPT. If not, maybe you should go and try to see what a ChatGPT is all about. I'm not going to give explainer about what a ChatGPT is. I mean, everybody knows that it's an AI tool. You give a prompt and then it comes up with, it answers your question. Right? It can do a lot of fun stuff. It can do a lot of serious stuff also. It can improvise your learning. It can improvise your productivity. Like ChatGPT, we have a lot of other tools as well, Anthropic, Google Gemini, right? So I'm not going to go very deeper into that. That's pretty basic, I believe, these days. I'm sure otherwise you would not register for this course at all. So I'm not going to go for any basic explainer over here. And then something very surprisingly happened is like around uh, probably I think around 2023 also more or less the same thing. We are not maximum, maybe if you would have seen around June 2023 or something like that, we may have like ChatGPT 4 or something. I'm not very sure when exactly the ChatGPT 4 happened, but around probably that time we might be able to generate like 200 to 250 lines of code. Not there are a lot of other models also came up with, but ChatGPT is the only place probably you can go and generate 150 lines of code. Right, and the same thing was there around when I started OpenAlgo. So when we started building OpenAlgo around 2024, I think we still had ChatGPT 4 only. Maybe ChatGPT 4 or 4.0 model is what we started having. So that time also maximum line it can generate in one stretch and a single shot, right? It's still only 250 lines of code, 250 lines of code. But that has been drastically changed. The first change I was able to observe is like around August. So this is where August 2024, not very far. August 2024, we have like Claude Sonnet 3.5, right? So where I'm able to hit like 300 to 350 lines of code. So this is like Claude Sonnet 3.5. Then I think around October 2024 or somewhere, I think Claude Sonnet 3.6 got announced. They also say like Claude Sonnet 3.5 newer model, which had the capability of 400 to 600 lines of code. You are able to write like 400 to 600 lines of code first time. And simultaneously, I think ChatGPT 4.0 model also announced, and they are also able to write in a single stretch some 300 to 350 lines of code. But then around I think November 2024, again, that's a major transformation happened, I believe. Claude Sonnet 3.8 got released, which is now having the capability to write somewhere around like 600 lines of code in a single stretch. 600 lines of code is massive, right? So probably within 5 minutes, it's able to write like, so not even 5 minutes, probably within 2 to 3 minutes, you'll be able to generate like 600 lines of code. And now the new capabilities are like now we have like Claude Sonnet, not even Claude Sonnet, many of the tools, right? So this is what the context back then. But now there are many tools are able to generate codes around like 1200 to 1500 lines in a single stretch, right? So that's a huge productivity jump, for almost like 5 to 10 times jump within one to 1.5 years of time. So now this is like October 2025, right? Now Claude Sonnet 4.5, right? So it is able to generate at least 1000 to 1500 lines in a single stretch. lines of code in a single stretch. Not just Claude Sonnet, even the same thing is doable with uh, GPT, Chat GPT as well, Chat GPT or GPT Codex. And so recently people are talking about GLM 4.1, something like that. There are GLM models and Gwen Coder. Everybody is having almost similar capabilities, right? So that is something which is kind of crazy, I would say. Means you can rapidly prototype the codes pretty much faster. So let me show you a sample over here, like what was the productivity jump that we've been seeing here. Maybe to try to explain things. Yeah. So this is a kind of productivity jump. This is like OpenAlgo's source code at production grade source code. When we started around April 2024, we've been building since January 2024 onwards. First time around April 2024, our first version is going, it's getting released. So back then, every week we are able to generate like 1,500 lines of code in production, 1,500 to 2,500 lines of code. So within 3-4 months, we are able to build like 8,394 lines of code. We are able to integrate brokers like Angel, Fires, Zerodha, and I think Upstocks. So these are the first initial four brokers that we had integrated. And then slowly, you can see that the productivity within like uh, another 3 months down the lane, the code doubles. But then afterwards, it was kind of stagnant, mostly fixing the issues. That's what I was doing, not much. But November 2024 onwards, that's where the Claude Sonnet 3.8 launched. You can see that the productivity jump from November to January, it's like almost like more than 250% jump over there, 50,000 lines of code. And from January, this is 2025, right? So this year 2025. And then that's the time I thought like, okay, I should start uh, adding one of my colleague as well, because I was building very lonely around these levels. Some of the people came and contributed, but then something very interesting happened over here. I also have to add another colleague as well. So she is Kalaivani, my another colleague. She also now build 30% of the open algo is now built by Kalaivani. So now we, myself and Kalaivani, we build together. We also build a lot of other things as well apart from OpenAlgo, right? So you can see that the productivity jump every 3 months. You can say from January to April, another 25,000 lines of code added, and that's a huge jump again. Like from April to July, like we got like almost the code base doubled, and September like 198,000 lines of code. We are able to integrate now 24 brokers. So we are integrating Motilal Oswal as well, and you can see that productivity jump from September to October. We are able to add another almost 50,000 lines of code within matter of 2 weeks. October is still like what, hardly, not even 2 weeks has been gone, right? So there has been like a huge productivity jump. So that's a kind of magic it is able to do, and not even a single line of code is generated by a human. Initially we try to do, when we started around this, probably I would say like 5% of the code is written by a human, right? I mean, means I have to write some 5% of the code. I have to go back and learn a lot of things, because this is something which is very new. I haven't done it yet, but over a period of time, the way we are interacting with the AI model changed. The new AI capabilities make us to trust like how we build the how we trust GPS, Google GPS, right? If you want to move from, let's say I'm moving from Bangalore to Delhi, I can switch on the GPS, and I don't need to know about the routes. I don't need to know about the road conditions and everything, but I can just simply, I don't need to worry about whether I'm going to hit a highway, or I'm gonna go in an very narrow lane, or I'm gonna go in an a very congested traffic, or I don't need to know anything about it. All I have to do is like I switch on my GPS. My GPS is gonna tell me everything about it, and all I have to do is like just follow the instructions. The same thing is what it started happening. Initially, we haven't trusted the AI tool. We seen this as like a crazy device, right? But then over a period of time, the reliability started increasing as new models came up with new capabilities. The reliability only started keep going up. Right now, we just say like what I want to build. We give more context how to build, and then we try to understand is like how the web technologies work, how the API works, how the WebSocket works, how the broker documentation, how to understand the broker documentation, right? How to even there are complex challenges we have to solve it. So how to solve those things, how to implement web security, or how to, maybe if I'm working on a particular database like QuestDB or a Postgres or DuckDB or a SQLDB, MySQL database, how to understand these the basic concepts about those database. That is where my most of my time is spent, and my most of my time is also spent on testing the software tools. Very limited amount of time we spend in generating codes. Generating the uh, larger code base is next to nothing. It can happen within like a few minutes of time, like a few hours. If you're gonna spend probably our current run rate, I can tell you like we can able to generate if you're having good ideas, right? Probably every 5 hours you can generate 15,000 to 20,000 lines of code. You'll be able to generate with that new capabilities, and you will be able to shape up. You can able to bring up with a working product probably within like within 6 days. You'll be able to come up with a working product, right? So within a code base sounds like around like 50,000 lines of code, you'll be able to come up with a working product. So that's the new capabilities. That's one of the thing I want you to do as well by end of this session, right? So that is where the entire journey of how to build simple stuff to slightly complex stuff, or even more. Maybe something you might be having some day-to-day challenges, but you want to automate that. You want to automate any of your workflow. So how to automate it? How to build such kind of pipelines? So that is what we will be learning throughout the session. And if in case if you have any questions, you can raise your hands. I'm going to unmute you all. So anytime you have any questions, you can ask me so that you can speak back anytime if you have any questions. Anybody's having any questions, like any expectations you are having in this session, you can speak me back. Anybody? Or there is a hand option is there, right? So you can unmute your button and you can speak back. Yeah, Ayan is having a question.
Yeah. Hi, Rajendran.
Yes,
Uh,
Ayan.
I'm following you from the long time. So I
Yeah.
participated couple of coding related webinar as well previously.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is mostly we are going to build a platform for investor and trader, so we can
Yes,
track
yes.
our
See,
progress and all
the
those things.
idea can be extended to anything. It could be your own personal life. You want to build your own
Mm,
some software. Let's say somebody is a doctor who want to build his own appointment app, or it could be like you are a small business owner. You want to build your own small CRM. It could be anything. The idea could be anything, right? So, or you
okay.
are in your day-to-day work, you are having some like you're dealing with a lot of Excel files or something like that. You want to
Hmm.
automate it. So it could be anything that you will be end of the day you'll be able to solve this. Small things initially you'll be able to solve. I'll not say like on a day one itself you'll be able to build stuff, because
Yeah.
to do this right. So to do this I have to write a lot of small things I have to solve, right? So I don't know certain things, I don't know how to solve it. So I go back and solve only that particular things before I try to add it in OpenAlgo, right? So that way what happened is like I am end up building like 136 other platforms apart from OpenAlgo. So this is like I do have a zero contribution in GitHub back then, but probably 138 out of 138, at least 100 plus tools I would have built so that I can build OpenAlgo, right? So I have to go back and build certain things like TradingView. I want to know how to integrate TradingView charts, right? So I had done it in the back. So back then, around 2014, we taken the NSE data, and then back then Kalevani was there along with me. She was one of the first employee of Market Calls. So we went to NSE and we got the 5 minute data. We got into our server. Every 5 minutes once the data will be coming into our servers, and then that data we will be exposing it to the API. So that's a time TradingView also come up with an kind of an if you're having your website, your data, you can show the data. So that's where we integrated TradingView. But then there are now recently TradingView had something called TradingView Lightweight Chart. Not recent, but last 5 years I think they've been having it, where anybody can now integrate their own data. So I had to work on. I want to understand how the thing works. I'm able to build things. And the Sketchmaker, that's one of my favorite to create softwares. And then this is something like I had to work on about related to machine learning, like kind of in your own personal advisory, kind of a machine learning based stock recommendation tool, which is very native. I just worked for only for 2 days only, but then a lot of learnings I'm able to grab through that. And then we try to implement an open terminal, like kind of an trading terminal, which we built on top of the broker APIs, right? uh, a lot of experience we are able to grab. That's the time we learned about the in and out of APIs, WebSockets, and now we are able to understand almost like 23 plus brokers WebSockets, 23 plus brokers API documentation. So tons and tons of learning. Every small things that we are trying to solve, we are able. The learning capability has been pretty much exponential. So that's my journey. And
Thank you.
so you have any questions? Like you have any expectations with this session?
No, actually, thanks for the scheduling this for weekend because earlier most of the classes happen in the weekdays, so that is difficult sometimes not able
Yes,
to
yes.
attend and all. So I hope this time able to attend and having more questions so I can contribute from my end.
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's move a little forward, right? So why Python particularly, if you ask me, right? So Python is one of the easiest programming language. A beginner who haven't even learned any programming language, I would say like definitely Python is the first language somebody has to start with. Earlier we have to start with when I was in my college, like I completed my engineering, electronics and communication. Throughout my though my field was like electronics and communication, I do studied mostly C, C++. I had self-taught myself, and then the first thing I mean, I had to go to an uh, back then we have NIIT, right? So to learn computers, so I had to go and enroll for VC++ because I thought like it's cool. That's the only thing which I learned from an institute. Otherwise, most of the things I had self-taught. Python is self-taught. I'm a broker programming, trading view programming. So learning something new program is not new to me. I've been keep doing this for quite some time. And Python is something which has been Python inspired me a lot because it's something which is very easy, even a beginner can understand. C and C++ or VC++ is not for beginners. Even Java doesn't looks like it's for beginners, but Python is real tool for beginners. And particularly if you're going to use AI tools kind of things, Python is more, I mean, LLM tools are pretty much comfortable in generating code with Python and JavaScript. So if you are a Python or a JavaScript user, I would say like definitely you should be using the AI tools to generate rather than doing it manually. And Python itself has a very strong community support, right? So Python is now number one programming language. It outsmarted, it overtaken Java programming language since 2018 onwards. I mean, for the last 7 years, Python is the one which has been dominating the programming industry, and of course, followed by that JavaScript as well, right? And yeah, so when it comes to AI tools, I would say like Python is the best when it comes to building applications and everything. So this is Stack Overflow 2025 survey. You can see that two images has been shown over here. One is learning to code. One is Python. You can see that Python is the top, which has been the number one tool for very quite some time to learn a new programming language. So followed by that, mostly HTML, CSS, and JavaScript follows next in terms of learning. And learners that who use AI tools, right? So people who are using AI tools, they also said that they've been pretty much using Python as the number one tool to build their own backend, and they also using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So this is what exactly our stack also. We are also going to use the exact stack is what we're going to use over here. We're going to use Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and HTML, SQL. This is what you can expect in our sessions also. It's not only about we're going to teach Python over here, right? So we'll be learning the front end designs as well, like HTML, CSS. I'm not going to talk about any HTML, CSS codes or something like that. because that is not required also. Even for a trader, somebody, they don't need to know about HTML, CSS. If they know it's okay, but even if you don't know about it, the AI tools are gonna take care of it for you, right? We're gonna only try to understand how to build beautiful, by default. If you're gonna generate any front end, it's gonna be by default, it's gonna be beautiful only. That's how these days the AI tools are generating. But there are certain frameworks. If you understand, maybe the learning curve could be even much better. So we'll be using Daisy UI and Tailwind for beautifying the tools. I'm pretty much comfortable with Daisy UI and Tailwind. So yeah, so this that we will be using throughout the series. And when it comes to Python application, what are the things that we can build? Is lot many things we can build. Some of the things which already people are building are I've been meeting a lot of traders who've been using AI tools to build, right? Yesterday I had to go to an trader who is a prop trader. So he's building his own AI based backtesting tools. So means not AI based backtesting tools means the entire backtesting tools. He's having a logic, so his logic is converted into an backtesting engine. So he is using for his own prop desk. He is using that, right? And last week, if I'm not wrong, I was interacting with an trader who is from Kerala, right? So he was a mobile technician. Like he was building his own order flow tools using TradingView lightweight charts, and he was using Fire's API, right? So he was taking 5 second data, and he built an order flow. So now he was thinking about how he can make use of that, and he is using it for his own trading purpose. He was a very small trader. He was trading with like 20,000 rupees of money, and then but I just asked him out of curiosity, like, do you work? Are you running a business? He said, like, no, I'm not running any business. I'm working in an small um, mobile repair service center, is what he said. Like, out of his curiosity, he learned Python, and he still do half of the codes are like manual codes, and half of them are like AI tools. So he is using AI tools to augment his work to build something which is pretty much faster, right? So there are a lot of various interesting people these days. We are able to see here and there, but I think very soon many people will be learning this. But those who are going to learn things, they are going to be the early mover. That's the thing here. A lot of people are learning left, right, center. There are a lot of expertise. Uh, People are able to bring better productivity using these tools. But going forward, right, so many people will be able to learn this, but who is moving forward, that's the who is able to build faster. That's what it makes sense now. Who is going to write a efficient code? I think that's an irrelevant question going forward. Who is going to build faster? That's going to be the more uh, challenging thing going forward. So what we can build a lot of things. Like we can build an automated trading bot. We can build an AI powered trading agent. That's what my end goal is. So I'm a more of an semi discretionary trader. I also build algo trading platforms. I also had traded various trading systems as well. So one of the thing which my end goal, I would say, like which I'm having this idea for a very long time, to create a trader uh, who is powered by AI, who can think like us, or maybe think better than 10x better than us, and who can continuously learn from the markets, market data, the news sentiment analysis, and everything combined together. He can take a better trading decision, better risk management. So that's what we'll also see some of the reflection over here throughout the series, like how we can build an AI powered trading agent. And here in this series, we're not going to talk about anything about machine learning, but yeah, you can use Python applications for machine learning. A lot of tools you can build around it. And you can build your own option chain analyzer. You can build a real-time market screener. So this series also will be talking a little bit about scanners as well, how to build your own scanners. Or if you want to build your own trading journal, right, you can build your own trading journal in no time. You can able to build it, and you can build your own news sentiment analyzer just like that. On the fly we'll be able to generate. So if time permits, we'll also try to build a new sentiment analyzer as well. And yes, you can build your own efficient risk management systems, RMS. You'll be able to build your own RMS tools, which is what I'm gonna this month. My entire focus is on building RMS tool for OpenAlgo. Right now, OpenAlgo has a pretty basic RMS, but this month we'll be building a very comprehensive RMS for OpenAlgo. And the code editors, what we will be using is like VS Code. VS Code is from Microsoft, right? So apart from that, Microsoft is the number one uh, coding tool used by developer across the world, right? VS Code is used across the world. But recently, Windsurf and Cursor, which is nothing but an fork of VS Code. VS Code is open source, so anybody can download the code. They can customize on their own. So Windsurf and Cursor, they had forked VS Code, and then they had improvised with agentic tools. So they went very pretty much viral. They are like now $1 billion companies now. So in no time they got into the $1 billion ladder. And Windsurf and Cursor is also pretty much people are preferring in the industry. And PyCharm, yes, they are also trying to improvise themselves. But earlier people, only those Python coder, they used heavily PyCharm. But I would say like now after the VS Code and Windsurf and Cursor, these are pretty much, I would say these are pretty much needy tools for the developers. PyCharm at this point in time looks irrelevant, but there are a lot of old people who already used PyCharm. They are trying to sticking with that because PyCharm is also a pretty interesting UI from Jet. But still people are sticking to that. But I think a lot of innovation is happening in VS Code, Windsurf, and Cursor. Innovation is also happening in PyCharm as well, but I'm not aware about much of the happenings at PyCharm side. I initially used my first code editor with to learn Python was PyCharm. But once VS Code started, I have to switch to VS Code. The interface was really cool and easy to handle. So if you understand VS Code, then Windsurf and Cursor is pretty much more or less simple. So throughout this journey, we'll be using VS Code a lot, right? Because it's free and you can go and download Windsurf and Cursor also. You can go and download it. There are limited free editions. We'll be able to try it out. But tomorrow, maybe if time permits, I'll try to show you how to play with Windsurf. If you understand Windsurf, Cursor is also more or less similar. So I'm not going to show every editor over here. Primarily, we'll be using VS Code and primarily we'll be going to use Windsurf because Windsurf I used probably during the period of this is the period I have to use Windsurf. Around Jan is where we started using Windsurf. Jan, April, till I think May, for 5 months I used Windsurf. Now I have to switch myself to Claude Code, right? So we will be we'll be talking about VS Code and Windsurf here, right? And we'll also talk about Claude Code as well, Claude Code and GPT Codex. Let's go back to VS Code, right? So here's the VS Code. So the first half is all about, we're not going to go deeper into the coding. Probably second half onwards, we'll be focusing on the coding part, how to understand codes. And first part is all about kind of orientation, what tools that we're going to use, where to download, how to set up, what are the things which are required, right? So since, I don't know how many of you don't code or haven't coded at all. Anybody is there like who is not coded yet? If you are if you're having a reasonable coding experience, you can just type it out like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. You guys don't code. Um, okay, Vishnu says 9 years. Ayan says like 20 plus years. Okay, that's great. So how about others? Jayesh, Sriram, Akshay. I know Akshay probably been attending a lot of sessions, so probably now he codes pretty much faster. Already he might be a developer also. I have no idea. Okay, Jay says Python. He's having a Python coding experience. Sriram says worked only with PineScript for the last 2 years. Okay, that's great. See, let me also tell you, like, even though I haven't uh, coded a full stack application, we've been involved with developers. I run a fintech firm. So I engage with developers. I hired developers and hired my developers work with me. I done an ideation. I also had run an startup called Algo Mojo. It's an algo trading platform. I'm not with Algo Mojo anymore for the last 2.5 years. I moved out and then I had to start this Open Algo, right? Means I had worked with developers. I know how things works. It's not like I never worked with any software industry. Even though I never worked with any software industry. I worked closely with developers who worked for me to build our own automation tools, right? Our own simple workflows to complex workflows. All right, so first thing first, I'll go to file. I'm going to open a folder. So I'm using a VS Code over here. The basic requirements are first you need to go and install Python. You can go and install Python from here. You can go to python.org. If you go to the download section, you'll be finding Python 3.14. That's the latest version. You can download the Python install manager and you can use it. But I would say like this is latest version. Maybe some of the old applications if you are using it may not be compatible, so it's highly recommended you go and download the, let's say you want to download 3.13 or something, you can go to a specific release of Python. This is like 3.13.8 that also released around October 7. This is more reliable. Python 3.14, they newly launched its stable release, but still it's highly recommended to stick with Python 3.13 for time being. Maybe as time progress, another 3 months or 6 months down the lane, more libraries will start supporting the latest version. So until then, I would prefer to stick with Python 13.8. So how we can verify whether Python is installed? If you ask me, once you downloaded it, you have to go back and download the files from here. So in my case, I had to download the 64-bit installer. Maybe if you are using an ARM processor, you have to go and download the relevant thing. ARM 64. I'm using AMD, so I'm going to go and download the 64-bit. Maybe if you're a Mac user, you have to go and download it in a very relevant way. The Linux, if you're a Linux user, probably the command is pretty much different. You can access ChatGPT and you can get that. I'm sure most of the users could be mostly from Mac or Windows. So we're gonna mostly use Mac or Windows, but whatever that we are using in Mac OS commands, it's pretty much similar for Linux also because both are similar flavors. So Mac OS is also a distro of Linux only. So you can go and download this and you can go for the installation setup. So once the installation is done, right? So first thing you have to go and check is like you can open a command line and you can go and check, right? Python hyphen version. So you should be able to see what are the version that you have downloaded. You should be able to see that the version has been installed over here. The next thing what is also required to download is like git SCM. So you can go to git SCM download. You can go to the download section. It's a simple installer. So for whichever the operating system that you're using, you can go and download it. Let's say I'm going to download for Windows. So you can go and download the setup, or you can also download from here as well. Download and install it. And then you have to validate using git hyphen version. So these two tools are pretty much necessary to start with. Then comes installing the Visual Studio Code. So there are two things. Visual Studio is there. Visual Studio Code is there. What we want is Visual Studio Code. It is also called as VS Code. So VS Code download. So you can go and download from the Microsoft portal, right? So just go and download it. So once this is downloaded, you'll be seeing the Microsoft environment over here, right? So you'll be getting this VS Code. Also ensure that you open up a terminal. So even in the terminal also, you try to type Python hyphen version. So you should be able to see the version, git hyphen version. You should also able to see these versions. So ensure that these two versions you are able to see, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'll go to File, Open Folder. I'm going to create a new folder here. I'll go to my D drive. I'll say like AI Bootcamp 2025. And I'll say like session 01. So every session, I want to create a new folder, and whatever the files that we are generating, I'll be sharing the files, all the PPT materials, whatever that we are talking about it, I'll be sharing those things as well. Or any commands, if in case we need, I'll also sharing it. If you could see that, you'll be able to see couple of things, the installation and command codes, how to install Python, how to install VS Code, some of the pip commands. So what are the relevant commands which are we will be or we are going to use on a day-to-day life? I had added over here. It's a PDF. Maybe you may not be able to download locally, but you can able to see it and you can access it from your Android application. Even you can install Market Calls learning app from the Android store. Right now it is available only in the Android store. You can go and download it and you'll be able to access these PDF from there as well, right? You can also, if you are using the app, you may be able to download it locally within the app. You'll be able to download, not outside the app. So first thing first, let's try to understand. Let's try to write a simple code, right? For that, once the VS Code is installed, we also have to install extensions. So extensions are like how in Android is an operating system. On top of the operating system, we can go to the Play Store and we can download apps. Likewise, here also we have extensions. Here you can go and download the apps. So some of the apps I would prefer to have is like the basic one is Python. So the basic extensions are like Python. So Python, Pylance, ensure that these two things are installed. By default, when you install VS Code, automatically these extensions will be installed. But then along with that, we also have to install something called Jupyter. So Jupyter, we have to install. And for agentic coding, for if you're a beginner level agentic coding, it's highly recommended to use Klein. So Klein also, you have to go and install. Just there will be install button will be there. So let's say first I'll disable it. I'll restart the extension. You'll be having like install or enable. Let's say I'll uninstall also. You'll be seeing this kind of install button. So once you install it, automatically the extensions will be available. You'll be able to see this Klein tool over here. You'll be able to see this Klein tool, and you can go and configure Klein tool with tools like Open Router, right? So Open Router is a very interesting where you can access multiple models in one single place. So later on, we'll talk about Klein. First thing is like you have to go and install Klein. And that is pretty much, let's say I'll try to show you a sample over here. Maybe if I go to the settings in Klein, right? If I go to the settings in Klein, I'll be able to connect with various service providers. So like Open Router or Google Gemini or Anthropic. So here, let's say I'll go and add an Cerebras. Cerebras is what I'm gonna do. Where I can go back and add various models. I can go back and select various models. So most of them are open source models, right? And once I'm done with that, I'll be able to interact with that and I'll be able to generate code. Like I'd say, like I say hi and it's gonna respond me back. Now, the whole idea is not to say hi, but just to check whether it's working or not, right? So the API key I got from Cerebras. Cerebras is kind of an inference engine provider, inference provider, where they host LLMs, mostly open source LLMs, and where you'll be able to connect with those models. So mostly open source models is what they provide, but the output will be pretty much faster. So Cerebras has one of the world best inference engine provider. Then followed by that, we also have like Grok. It's not GROK. GROK is from Elon Musk. GROQ. So this is also, they also provide a lot of open source models, right? The whole idea is like how it works, I'll tell you. So one side we have an inference engine provider. We have this inference engine provider. So they provide LLM models. They host LLM models and they provide access to LLM models. So LLM models, you can interact with client. A lot of plugins are there. A lot of VS Code extensions are there. Like Klein you can use, or probably you can use tools like Continue Dev. Or you can also directly, you can go and use another extension like Claude Code. If you're a Claude Code user, you can use Claude Code VS Code extension. Or Google Gemini also, they have their own Google Gemini extension as well, right? So sometimes the companies who are providing the LLM itself directly they provide like Claude Code or Google Gemini. Or maybe if you are an if you want to use open source LLMs, where here the inference engine provider, they are mostly from Cerebras. A lot of inference providers are there, but among the top, Cerebras is the one, and Grok are the one, which are free to use to a limited extent. You can generate definitely a very good amount of software tools you'll be able to build. So it's free to access. Probably every day you can generate at least some 10,000 to 20,000 lines of code. You should be able to generate. That should be more than sufficient if you're building something very small, right? And here they host various open source models. The models they'll be hosting is like mostly GPT, OSS, which is from open source model from Google. I mean, not OpenAI, and then they also provide Google Gemma. They also provide Llama models from Facebook and DeepSeek. Probably Gwen is also recently getting popular, and then GLX and Moonshot, right? So many guys are there in this open source stuff over here. So all those things you'll be able to see it in let's say like even to Grok. Let's go and let's say start building. You can go and see like what are the models they do support. If you go to the playground, you can see these are the list of models from Alibaba. Gwen is from Alibaba. Grok, they have their own model, and Meta models, all the Meta Llama 3.4, Llama 4 models, Moonshot, OpenAI models, right? And OpenAI also has an text to voice and voice to text kind of things. It's called Whisper. And they also have like Play AI. These are like real time transcription tools. So all those voice to text kind of stuff it is. Like TTS means text to speech kind of models. You give input as a text, the output will be in speech. So that's the kind of models. So these are the models which are hosted by Grok, which I'll be able to access it via Klein, right? So that goes through Klein, and in Klein is where the user will be making the prompt. So user will be prompting, user prompt, user will be saying what he want to build, and the code will be generated inside the VS Code itself, inside the VS Code. Right. So even before I show a sample, first let's try to go and write a simple basic Python code. Right. So manually is what I'm going to write. So here's the session. I'm going to create a new folder. This is a folder icon, and here we have a file icon. I'm going to put a new folder. I'll say like Python basics, and I'm going to write a new file inside the folder. I'm going to give a file name like hello.py. That's a pretty first Python code everybody writes. So I'm going to say like uh, I'm not going to code, right? So manual coding is like long gone. We have something called auto completion. So if you are having this extension, the extension is GitHub Copilot, GitHub Copilot. So maybe you may have to have an GitHub account also. So if in case you don't have a GitHub account, you can go and get this. So this is GitHub account. You can go and install this. It is more of an auto completion tool. So what you can do is like, let's say you want to write a simple line of code. I'm going to say like, I want to write a simple hello world code, hello world program in Python. So it's going to write it for you. That's it. Very simple, right? So you don't need to do anything. All you need to do is like you need to know how to run this application. So you say something with a hash. Hash is like commenting. It's going to solve it for you, right? So simple lines of code you'll be able to generate. You may not be able to generate large chunk of code, but simple things you'll be able to do, right? Maybe our next example, I'll try to show you a very interesting example. First, I'll try to run this code. I'll go to the terminal. So from the terminal is where we'll be running the application. So I'm going to say like, first save this. So if you save this, uh, then I'll go to the terminal and then type Python app, sorry, Python, the program name is hello.py, right? Oh, come on, what did I? I have to be in I have to get into this folder, Python basics. So under session, if you type ls, you will see like which folder is there. So I'm going to get into the folder Python basics. So cd space, cd will get into that particular directory. It's a DOS command. So cd space, you just simply type pi and then give a tab. Automatically, it's going to recognize that complete. You don't need to type everything, and then type enter. So you'll be getting into the Python basics. So now I'm going to type Python. My program name is hello.py, right? So hello.py. So what it's gonna do is like it's gonna simply print hello world, right? So this is something very very simple. But let's say I want to do something different. I'm gonna create a new one. I'll say like I simply want to write and I want to just mimic a simple place order. Select place order dot py. I'm not going to place any live order, but I'm going to show like some simple demonstration of order placement. Right? Say like simulate place order in Reliance 100 shares in MIS. That's what I'm gonna simulate, right? And uh, sure, my current fund balance is let's say like so and so rupees, and LTP of Reliance is last traded price of Reliance is let's say like 1,300. So it's giving me the fund balance. It's giving me the LTP of Reliance, right? And what else? And say like quantity is 100, order type is MAS. It's creating the variables. So these are the variables which we are going to store the data. So 1 lakh rupees is my fund balance. I'm going to store it in fund balance. 1,300, I'm going to store it in Reliance. Quantity is like 100. Order type is MAS. Let's still continue. It's going to keep bringing it's going to check if my order type is MAS. Then what it's trying to do is like it is going to block 25% of the margin. See, I'm not saying anything. I'm just giving only the context. It's and the code is trying to get manually auto completed, but this is a very slow way. But the first way to start with this using the auto completion, right? So still, it's not done yet, but you can say like if it is CNC, it's gonna do a lot of calculations. It's gonna check if a lot of if and else. It's gonna apply. If there is any error, it's gonna throw some error as well. So a lot of things it is writing over here, right? So I haven't done not even a single line of code. I haven't written, and I don't have any idea to write not even a single line of code as well, right? So what it's trying to do is like it's having variables, right? Fund balance is like 1 lakh rupees, LTP is like 1,300, quantity is like 100, and order type is MAS, right? So means I want to place an MAS order. MAS means intraday order. So if the order is MAS, it's gonna say like the margin, it's gonna block like 25% of the margin. If the order type is cash and carry, right, delivery means it's gonna block the full margin, and it's gonna check whether the fund has been what is the fund amount, whether sufficient fund amount is there or not. If sufficient fund is there, it's gonna detect the balance, and it's gonna say like, hey, order has been placed in so and so. This is your remaining balance. So I also want to say like I want what is my previous balance as well. So I'll say like let's say print. I want to say like my previous balance is was so and so balance. That's what I want to print. So whatever I'm just thinking, whatever I want to do, it is auto completing it. This is a simple auto completion, right? Where you don't need to write a code. Even if you know the code, you just start with that. The AI tool understand the context. It can understand the complete source code, and it's gonna auto complete the code for you. Most of the time, it's gonna be highly accurate, right? And most of the times, it's gonna do 10x better than what your expectation is, right? So let's try to run this application like Python place order. So it's saying like my previous balance was 1 lakh rupees after placing an order. Once the order is placed, it's placing 100 shares of Reliance in MAS. So this is my remaining fund balance. So the margin is getting detected for MAS. So it's detecting for MAS. So 25% of the margin only it is getting blocked. So what are the money is blocked? The remaining fund balance is what it is showing up, right? So remember, not even a single line of code is done by me. I try to write this particular line that also it has been auto completed. This line, right? That also auto completed. And this is a kind of reliability we are seeing even in an slightly small codes or even large codes. Let's say I'll try to come up with a different example, right? Let's say this time we're not going to use uh, we're not going to use our normal auto completion to solve. This time we're going to use client tool, right? So client tool is what we're going to use. The client tool, the interaction is a little bit different. Let's say I want to download the data, stock market data, master contract data. Let's go to like Fires. I'll go to the Fires API. I go to the V3 docs. This is the broker documentation. Like these days, many brokers, they provide APIs, right? And Fires is also doing the same thing. Throughout the series, we'll be using a lot of Fires API this time. Previous sessions we done with brokers like Upstocks, Angel, Zerodha, but this time we thought like we'll go with Fires. And what we're going to do here is like something very interesting is what we're going to do here. They have something called the instruments where I can find. It's mostly in an CSV file format. I'm going to go and find that. Mostly under, not here. Symbols, right? Yeah, so we're gonna go for symbol master. Yes, exactly. Symbol master. Maybe I'll search here. Yeah, so there's a symbol master over here. It's a CSV file, right? Let's say I want to process this CSV file, but I want to download this from the internet. I want to store it locally, right? All I have to do is like, there are two ways you can do it. One is you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask for a code, right? That is the most boring thing that you can do. That's an older technique. Let's say like I want to download this CSV from the internet, right? Using Python. Even you don't need to say Python. By default, it writes for Python in Python only. You can do it in any programming language. By default, ChatGPT itself uses Python. So you can ask like this. It's gonna code. It's gonna give you the code. You take the code, copy the code, and you can bring it over here. Let's say like you can bring it over here. So like download NSE symbols, right? Python. You can copy and paste. Every time you have to go back to ChatGPT and you have to paste it over here, and then you can check whether the code is working fine or not, right? And then you just type Python, download NSE. So it's saying like, you can see that the moment I type, it's saying like module error, no module is found. I have to install a library. This is called library, import request. So means Python is completely surrounded by libraries. Python itself quite famous for libraries. The number of libraries could have been exceeding like almost million libraries you can find in uh, Python. So there is a portal called PyPy. PyPy. So PyPy is a place where almost everybody who upload their libraries, including Fires, Zerodha, Alice Blue, like Upstocks, every broker, they go and upload their libraries, right? You can see like there are so many number of libraries over here. Almost, I said like million, but it's 500,000 libraries is what we are having over here. Like each and every project is a library. Means if each and every library serves its own purpose. Some libraries for placing orders automatically from the brokers. Some libraries will be provided by different providers. Are some libraries for like backtesting purpose. It's not done by a provider. It is an individual contributor. Anybody can download it and they can use it. Like there are libraries like Y Finance. You can go and download historical stock market data from Yahoo Finance, right? So this is where everybody uploaded their own library. I also had I have to upload my own library as well. So OpenAlgo, you can go and search it out. You'll be able to see like this is an OpenAlgo library which I have to upload some time back. Like almost every broker they upload their libraries over here. So I had to download the library from here so that I can use some of the functionality. So one of the library is the request library, which if you want to download anything from the internet, right? Any files, text file, CSV file, PDF file, or any file you want to download, JSON file. So you have to go and install it. For that, we will be using a pip command. So pip install request. If you type, automatically it will be downloading the latest version of it. So once it is downloaded, I will be able to execute the code. So now if I try to run Python download nsc symbols.py, you can see that it says like the file got downloaded automatically. So we don't need to worry about it. Even if I say, hey, this is my file format, I want only, I don't want all those rows and columns. Like what I can even say is like, I can even, uh, I'll try this with a different approach, right? I'll try with this with a different approach, even with the enhanced approach as well. You will be pretty much surprised. Maybe if you haven't done a white coding, you might be pretty much surprised. Let's say I'll go to client. My client, I had to go and connect with Cerebras. Cerebras, I'll show you. Cerebras. You have to go and get an API key from them. Like it's pretty much free. I think in a per day you can able to generate 1 million tokens, which is like around 20,000 to 30,000 lines of code you'll be able to generate, I think, and that too pretty much faster. So that's what we're gonna do here. So you can go and get an API key, right? So generate an API key. You will be getting a secret key, and that secret key is what you have to go and paste it over here. Once pasted, you select the model. What are the model that you want to see? Like GPT OSS, one of the popular model. Gwen Coder, that's also popular model. Llama, earlier it was popular, not anymore. After this GPT OSS and Gwen 3, these are quite popular open source model. All these are open source model, right? They're not private models. Private models are like Claude, Gemini, or Gemini 2.5 Pro, or Claude Sonnet 4.5, or Claude Opus models, ChatGPT 5 models. So these are private models. You have to go and pay for such kind of models to use it, right? But here it's open source model. Open source model also it's hosted by Cerebras, right? So as long as you are not using any, you are under a certain limit, you are free to use, right? So still you can go and use those models over here. So for time being, I'll stick with Cerebras, and then done. So now I can go and say like, hey, I want to download. The same thing is what I'm going to do over here. But the thing is like the code will be generated inline inside the VS Code itself. All you have to do is like you just have to say that's it, right? So there is a new one is there. I will open a new one. I'm going to say like I want to download the CSV file, and I'm just going to give the link. So I'll go to the Fires portal. Oh, come on. Symbol master, right? I think yesterday I was seeing somewhere here, but then sometime I may have to go back and maybe my eyes are not working properly. Like, yeah, that doesn't matter. I'll search from here. So now this time I want to download everything, right? I'm not going to do something small. We'll try to build something bigger, right? So and say like I want to download the entire CSV files, CSV files, and keep in data folder. So I'm going to create a new folder name called data. So inside the Python basics, right, I'm going to create a new folder called data. I want to put exactly that file should go to this particular folder. That's what the simple workflow is. I want to download this entire CSV file and keep in the folder. You can put an @ symbol and you can add a folder. So you can say like what folder you want. You can just simply type also. Probably you should be able to see the folder name over here, or probably you can say like what folder. You can go back and add a particular folder, right? Python basics slash data. Somehow data, since I created a new, it's not able to recognize, but I'll say like inside Python basics, there is a data folder is there. I want to download all the folder files in that place. And these are the list of CSV files I want to download. I'll say enter. So now what it's going to do is like, it's going to generate a code. It's not going to execute for me. Execution also, it does that. There are certain advanced model which does that. It's okay. Maybe it's downloading. It's using some it's not using Python, but using curl commands. So it's trying to download, right? But I don't want to do that. Let me stop that. I want to write a Python code. What I want to say is like I want to write a Python code. It downloaded, but it would have downloaded, I think. Yeah, so it's trying to download one by one. It's trying to download using a curl command. But I don't. This is like command line tool. It is trying to do, but I don't want to go with a command line tool. So I'll delete this. I want to go with the Python way, right? So what I asked is like it is it's doing it, but I want I never mentioned that I want a Python code. So let me pass over here. So let me stop that. Okay, I'll say like I'll go back. That is my request. So like I want to download these files and I want to put it in the so and so folder. That's the thing. So I'll try to type again. I want to download the entire CSV file and keep it in the folder. The files are maybe the only thing what I'm going to say, like I want to download the entire files using Python code, and keep it in the folder, so and so folder, right? So I'll just type enter. In the meantime, I'll try to delete those files. So you can open up the folder from here, right click and reveal in file folder, file explorer, that will be opening up. So let's say we'll delete these things. Okay. So the expectation here is like it should AP, please reduce the length of the message or completion. Sometimes that's the problem with the free models. Sometimes they restrict. Let's try changing the model. We'll go with Gwen coder, 450 billion parameter. Retry. I think I haven't done much. It's just a simple CSV file is what I asked. Same thing I'll be able to solve using ChatGPT also. But every time I have to copy and paste over here. So here you'll be able to do everything in the local place itself. Or if Cerebras is not working, I'm going to try with Grok. Grok also having the same GPT OSS model. If Grok is also not there, we have Open Router. So let me also show you Open Router. This is Open Router. So Open Router also provide access to various models. They also provide access to private models. Private models means you have to have some you have to have some subscription with Open Router. Or free models, you can go and try a lot of free models. They will be providing for experimental purpose, testing purpose. Some of them are already provided here, so you can go back and experiment. All you have to do is like you have to sign up and then you have to go and get an API key and you have to attach with your client. So I think recently the Elon Musk Grok coding fast is like heavily used. Let's go and try this model at least. Let's see what was the outcome that we are able to get. So let's go and create an API keys. I'll go and create a key. VS Code. So it gives me a code. It gives me a key. That key, I'm going to go and set it out. Instead of Cerebras, I'll go to Open Router. So Open Router, I have to go and set an API key. And here we can go and set an model. So the model name is Grok, right? So Grok Fast, Grok 4 Fast, Grok Code Fast 1. Let's go and try this out. Let's see how this works. Let me retry. Even though it's a small context, I don't know why it is struggling. Sometimes with free models, the challenge is like, okay, I think maybe I'll try to give this input one more time. I want to download, I want to use, better I'll say like generate a Python code to download the list of files. List of files. It's using it. It's pretty fast also. So checking the files, whether there any existing files are there or not. So if the existing files only, it's trying to enhance. So it's trying to write those files, right? So yeah, so the existing file itself, it has been overwritten. Initially, we tried to download only one single file. It's somehow intelligently able to understand that there's a similar file is there. It's gone installing, and it's also executing the file as well. You can see that it's also executing the code as well. And all the files would have been downloaded by now. It's downloaded. The only thing what I forgot to tell is like, hey, you have to download in the data folder. So what I can do is like I can say like, can you download? Can you download in the data folder? I can go and mention the data folder at the data. They're able to see the data. Somehow it's not able to recognize that. I'll say like Python basics. Inside that, we'll go and say like data folder. So everyone say like context window exceeded. Click retry to truncate the conversation. It's completed the task. So almost all the files has been already downloaded. But it's these kind of simple things we are able to solve it. But complex things, maybe it is going to cost money because every transaction that we are doing, that what will be exchanged is like it will be sending a lot of data to the LLMs, and LLMs will be sending back. So all the conversation will be happening in the form of tokens, and the token is a commodity in the world of LLM. Means you have to go and pay for the tokens. For limited use, they will be providing free tokens, maybe for free to try. But I think if somebody want to build better software, they have to have some sort of subscriptions. Right. But yes, here in this case, it are done with that. But the expectation is not just this. The expectation is more to that. The expectation is like I want to uh, download to the data folder. I'm just simply saying data folder. Let's see. It's good. It should go and figure out where the data folder is. So these are agentic tools which will try to solve the problem for us. So I'm just simply saying that I want to download to the data folder. But somehow it's saying like context window exceeded. That's crazy. When context window is exceeded, we have to go and what I can do, like I can open up a new task. I can say like, hey, this is my code. This is my download NSE symbol pi. I'll say like, I put an @ symbol and say like, this is my existing code. But it is downloading data, but not in a right folder. It is downloading data, not in the right folder. Not in the right folder. Can you download to the data folder? So that's what I'm going to say. So it should rewrite the code. Whatever the code which has been written, it will try to read the code, and it will try to change the code accordingly so that I'll be able to run it in data file. So you can see that it's completely rewriting the code. So we're using Grok model over here. It had rewritten the complete code. So now if I try to run, is it using the data folder? Yeah, it's using a data folder. If the data folder is not there, it's creating the data folder itself. checking whether the folder is existing. If the folder is there, it's fine. If not there, it's gonna build that folder. Let's go and rerun the application. So now it is downloading the historical data. And where is the data folder? Yeah, it's there. Like, so it's there. The data folder it's creating. It's trying to create inside the session one because I'm inside session one. So it's trying to create in the session one folder. Maybe if I would have tried to be in the data folder, it would have been, if I'm in the Python basics folder, it would have tried to create in the Python basics folder itself. Yeah, so we'll move on to the next one. For timing, what I'll try to do, I'll delete these CSV files. I'll move this to Python basics. I'll delete these files. Or even I can say like, so it's saying like run the files and scripts. Will be saved in Python basics data. That's what it's saying, but I try to run it, but it's not doing it in the particular folder. It's downloading it. That's not a problem, but it's creating in the session folder. So all I can say is like I can say like the data folder is getting created over here. I can just simply copy and I can give an input saying that it is creating the data folder in the wrong path. So I can just say like how I can just give the complete what is happening when I try to download, what executed, and where the files are getting created. I can give the context. So the more the context, better the context I'm gonna give, it is gonna solve it for me. I'm just giving a follow through instruction. So now it's saying like instead of putting the data folder, it's trying to put in the Python basics data folder. So which means if I try to execute now, let's say I'll delete those data folder. I delete all the data folder. I'm using Klein after a very long time. So my initial days I used Klein a lot. So now I'll go to I'm gonna go inside of Python basics, and then I'm gonna try to run. I'm gonna try to run the Python download nsc symbols.py. So we're having this inside Python basics, we're having the data folder. Inside data folder, it is downloading properly, right? All right. So now let's say like we'll say like I want to download only the certain columns only, right? We'll go and see this CSV file. So in the CSV file, they have the format. Probably if you go to the documentation, there's a documentation here. And in this documentation, they had given a lot of details, instruction, each and every field what it is. So I'll say like I want to, these are the list of headers. I'm going to say like these are the list of headers. These are the list of headers. Right? I don't want everything. Probably I want only, I can say like probably I want symbol details, exchange instrument, minimum lot size. Only I want to take only these 4 data only I want. So like I'll say like I want to process the CSV file, right? And fetch only the following columns. The following columns. So symbol details, and we're gonna get the exchange instrument type. And then we're gonna get the minimum lot size. And let's say tick size. So only these things only I'm gonna get what I want. Only those column I want to get it. I mean, the whole job, what job it has to do is like download the CSV file and transform to the uh, required columns, which is specified above. So means you don't need to have any special prompting techniques, right? That's the whole point over here. You have to simply say what exactly you want to do. You try to give more details, which place, which folder you want to have that particular file, or what column that you want to process, what column you don't want, what is your final output, right? And I also say like save in the same file name, same file name. As if like he is your trading or coding buddy, right? So how we are explaining it to your friend, the same way you try to explain, the same way you try to communicate, but try to give the maximum information so that it can understand and it can write the code accordingly to your requirement, right? Earlier also I had done the same thing. I had to explain it to my developer, right? So what software I want, if I want to build an algo trading platform, I had to go out to my developer and I had to say like, hey, this is a folder. I want this file, this column has to be changed. Exactly now also we are doing the same thing, but instead of a human, we are communicating with an AI tool, right? So now let's go and run the code. It says like error processing. So sometimes it processes with an error and you just communicate that there is an error is happening. So just keep communicating those errors. Of course, the same thing will be possible with a human as well. So it's going to figure out where is the error and it's going to fix it out. Or maybe the input column, whatever I had provided, may not be proper. Let's try this out. And now it is having, it's also printing the columns as well. Let's go and see. I'll try to give this input. Still, the output is not in my favor. Like what I am expecting is like I'm expecting only those certain columns only. Still, it is not as per my requirement. So, but it's also writing logs as well. This time it is writing more logs. It's trying to see more data. Still we are getting errors. Still we are getting errors. So let's see. But this time it's also printing the headers as well. So it understands that there is no header over here. Means fires they don't provide headers. So it has to write the code in a different manner. Maybe I should have given some sample code as well, right? Or sample CSV file. Um, it's not right. The AI is not writing the code properly. I'm not giving the better information. So maybe I can say like, hey, this is the input I'm getting. Fires doesn't provide headers. I mean, the CSV file doesn't contain headers. The CSV file doesn't contain headers because it's assuming that the first column is always a header, right? So means if you don't give the right output, the AI will start doing assumptions. So what we need to do is like we have to try to interact with the AI tool, and we have to tell them, like, hey, boss, this is my sample. This is my sample CSV file. I'm also saying like the CSV file doesn't contain any headers. Here is the sample data, right? Here, this is how the sample data looks like, and the headers also you can go and specify the headers. You can get it from here. You try to specify the headers at the end. The headers are the headers are. You can go and specify the headers. So these are the headers, right? You can either take it as a screenshot and you can give it. You can also attach as a screenshot as well, provided the model supports. So sometimes the model supports images as well. Grok supports images. So you can also give your inputs as an image as well. Let me try to attach the image. Yeah, I'm just attaching the image. The headers are attached here with. Now, probably the context is much more improved, right? Now the communication is better with the AI tool. I think they don't support images. I think maybe I have to provide the images in a different way only. So I'll try to remove the image. I'll try to remove the image. the headers are attached here. Probably I have to get only the headers. So probably what is the right way to get the headers is like, maybe you can use ChatGPT kind of tools. For timing, I'll convert this into only the headers. I'll paste the same image. I'll say like extract only the headers. I want only the attributes. Extract only the attributes, nothing else. So I'm just give only the headers details. So these are the headers which is having. I'm just going to copy that. And I'll go back and say like, hey, these are my headers. I'm sorry. So once this is done, we'll be taking a small 10 minutes break and then we'll come back and then we'll talk more about it. Somehow it's taking images and input. Okay, what I'll try to do, I'll try to start a new task. So something, this model doesn't accept images, it looks like. So since it's a free model, right, they're not accepting images. One challenge with the free tools are like a lot of restrictions. Okay, let's go and open a new one. I'll say like, first I want to read this is a new task. So the AI tool doesn't know anything about it. First I have to explain, hey, this is my code. So how I can explain that this is my code is, so the code is in my uh, download NSE symbols.py, which already downloading it, but it's not in the format what I want. It is giving the raw format, right? So I want a different format. So I have to start communicating in a different way. Now the context is like, I'll click on a new task. I'll say like, can you read the code? So I'm going to add a file. The file name is what? Download, right? So I just try to download NSE symbol.py. I have a few, it is downloading a raw file. It is downloading a raw file, but I want in a certain format. I'll give the format over here. I'll give, hey, these are my headers, right? And I'll say like, this is the sample data, how the sample data looks like. And I'll also say like, what was the error? So this is the current output. What is the current output error that I'm getting? Everything I'm communicating fresh. I'll send again. Probably now it should read the file and then it should understand the context, what the file is trying to do, what modification it has to do, and then it'll do the remodification. The thing is, earlier it was right doing what we want. It is able to solve the problem, but now we want a certain specified format is what we want, right? So we have to give more enhanced communication so that it rewrites the code. It knows what are the headers are. Earlier it doesn't know the file format because it's AI, right? Unless I say, it doesn't know what exactly to do. So I am the one who are the subject matter expert. I am the one who have to tell, hey, this is the file format. This is how it works, right? So only if you tell this is how it works, then it automate your work. Unless you're not saying that, if you don't say that, it'll try to figure out on your own. It'll start hallucinating. Means it assume things. Even the same thing will happen with the developer also. I think it's trying to read the CSV file. That's a problem. That's why the context window is exceeding. I'll try to tell what exactly it's trying to do. Basically, it works. The application works, but the CSV file is huge. It's trying to read a huge CSV file. And because of the AI tool is not able to read such a huge file, it's saying like context window is exceeding. Later on, I'll tell you what a context window is all about. Let's go and try it out. It's checking whether the file format is. What I'm going to do is, I think I may have to communicate even much again in a different way. Let's see. I think it says like, let's see whether the file format is now correct or not. It's trying to check whether the file format is correct or not. I still know it's still not doing it properly. Let's give one more try, one more final try, right? So I'll say like, I want, I'll say like, can you read at what the file name? Download NSE symbols. I want to download the NSE symbols, right? But want only specific columns, columns. The columns, what I want is, I want the symbol detail, exchange instrument type, minimum lot size, and tick size. Sample data I have to provide. So here is the sample data. I'm providing the sample data. And after providing the sample data, I also have to provide the list of headers also. I'm just trying to feed the headers. So these are the list of headers. Headers details. And I have to say like, don't read the CSV file because it is too heavy. So don't don't try to read the CSV file because every time it's trying to read the CSV file, the context is getting full. Don't try to read the CSV file because it is very big. Very big. Don't try to do that. That's again one more extra instruction I have to provide this time because it is going and trying to read the file and the context is exceeding. Once this is done, I also say what is the context limit is all about. Yeah. So now it is writing the context. Hopefully it is not going to read the CSV file. Yeah. It says like task is complete. Let's go and try this out. By now it should work. Oh, I'm getting some errors. So even if I'm getting any errors, I'll say like, hey, this is the error that I'm getting. I just give a follow through instruction. I'm getting some errors. So remember, in the second half only, we're going to start with the Python basics, right? So far we're just learning how to interact with the AI model, some of the basic things. Yeah, again, it says it fixed some of the issues. And by the way, what are the model that we are using? Still, they are kind of considered as an advanced model. Let's see how the output is. I'm going to ask a question. Are you storing as a CSV file again? Are you storing as CSV file again? As I'm still seeing the raw data, still seeing the raw data. I'm not seeing the processed columns. It's asking me a question. What do you mean by raw data? Modified script now downloads and saves CSV files with only specified columns. I'll say like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'll go to NSE equity, NSE cash market. I say, this is what I'm seeing. This is the sample data I'm seeing. We're still fighting. We are trying to explain the model how to do. So client is trying to execute and check the output. So what output is happening? It is trying to check. It's checking the top 5 data set. So this is the top 5 data set. Now the output is correct. Yeah, it says now the output is perfect. Let's go and see. I don't know, for some reason, okay, maybe I think it is doing here. It's already done, but it sits here. Like, okay, for some reason it is putting, there are 2 Python basics folder. I don't know why. Okay, but still doing it. It's doing that, right? Okay. So it's doing over here. So whatever the column is required, it's doing over here. But maybe let me tell you, like this is like with Klein, how I'll try to do is I'll be using something called Claude Code. Claude Code is supposed to be super advanced, right? I'll show you like how I'll be communicating with Claude Code. This is Claude Code. You just simply type Claude. It's a command line tool, which you can go and I'm going to create something from the scratch itself. I'm going to create, right? I'll say like I want to download. So here the model context is like I don't need to explain too much of things. In this client, I have to explain each and everything I have to explain. So here the model context explanation is pretty much smaller. So I'm going to say like, hey, I want to download the CSV files from Fires portal, right? So the list of CSV files are here, right? Let's go and get that. These are the list of CSV files. And then I'm going to say like it doesn't contain any head. I don't need, it doesn't contains, or I'll say like size of the file is huge. So the size of the file is huge. And then what are the other contexts I have to say is like probably headers I have to provide. So I can provide headers in the form of images, right? So here is the image, which I'm going to attach the image. I'm going to store it in my desktop. And I'm going to attach my image as well. So here's my desktop. So from my desktop, I'll go and attach the image. Yeah, here is the image. I'll say like attached. I'm going to attach the headers. Attaching the headers. And also sample data, right? So we also need some sample data we have to add as well. Let's go and add the sample data. This is a raw data file. I'll try to provide some sample here for cash market. That's the sample data. That's the sample data. Can you write a Python file to do it? Can you write a Python file to download it? I want only specific columns. I want only specific columns. I don't want everything, but I want only specific columns. The specific columns are, as you know, we had taken a specific columns here, right? So probably let's say this time I'm going to take like along with trading session also. Maybe I also want a symbol token as well. So first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns is what I want. Specific column. Did I mention the columns? I think I attached the image as well, right? So the image contains all the columns. So help me download in the folder fires. I'm going to create I want it to create a new folder, fires. I want to keep all the files in the fires section. Fires folder is what I want to create. Let's see how it goes. So it's kind of a thinking model, and we are using Claude Sonnet 4.5 model over here. It's writing the code, putting in a very organized manner, even more organized. It's listing the list of columns. These are the list of column it contains. So whatever I'm communicating is what it's converting into code, as you can see that. So I'm just giving the URLs. It's putting the URLs over here. I'm saying giving that these are the list of headers. So it's trusting me and say like these are my headers, and say like what columns to keep. It is keeping those columns. What output folder is fires, and it's giving everything in a very neat code. So what you are communicating that matters most. Even there are times if you fail to communicate, maybe it may not, yeah, the end output that we're not going to get properly. So always if somebody is saying that AI models are not going to work, that means they are not giving the right input. The more the right input that we're going to give, better the context. So now it's coming up and saying like, hey, this is like the script does. It also gives some explainer also. So of course, Klein is not good in giving. It also giving explainers, but I'm pretty much comfortable with the Claude Code kind of explainers. So what Claude Code is saying here is download CSV file from all the 7 fires URL. It extracts only the certain columns only, and it saves filter files to an fires folder. To run the script, you have to install these 2 lines of code. You have to install it, also giving you instruction what libraries you have to install. So I'm going to go and install those libraries. I installed it. So you can create multiple terminals you can create. This is one terminal where my Claude code is running. This is another place where I'm going to run or execute my Python code. If you want more terminals, you can go and create separate terminals, different terminals. You can do different things, right? So one is for interacting with the model, and another one is for running your application, testing your application, whether application is working fine or not. Okay, the libraries has been already installed. Now I think it's time to go and run this Python code. Where is the Python code? Is it in the same path or in a different path? I think it's putting a different path here. It's not in the Python basic folder. It is in download fires data.py. So from here, I'll try to run Python download fires data.py. So what it should do, it should create an fires folder. It is creating a fires folder here. It is also downloading the files as well. So it's downloading the file. It's a raw file and it's putting into a temporary file. It's processing it. It's processing using Python. And then finally, it is rewriting the files. And finally, what you get is the data what you want. So what we want is FI token, symbol details, exchange instrument, minimum lot size, tick size, ISIN, trading session. Right? So the key learning here is if you try to give proper context, proper details, human also will be able to do the same thing, and the AI also able to do the same thing. If you don't give proper detail, if we give half-baked information, model will assume things. So here, when I don't give the data, when I don't give that this headers, it was assuming things and it's not able to solve the problem. But once I give the proper data, it is able to solve it for me and it is able to write the code also, right? And let's try to take a small break here, probably a 10 minutes break. We'll come back and then we'll discuss more about it. A lot of things I wanted I want to discuss, but we got stuck in this client stuff. But anyways, that's fine. Like that's because I've been using client after a very long time. Uh, yeah, so still a lot of things client has to improve. But you can see that the Claude models kind of things, it's like one shot. You try to give the context, it's go and figure out how to do that. Even here, even if I don't give the sample data also, it knows that I try to check only the small part of the file. It will not go and check the complete files. It is a little bit sensitive enough to understand that it go and check only the certain part of the code and it gives me in one shot. Client also having that capability, but I think with client we have to give more explanation. Whereas here you have to give only the context. Claude is going to able to go and figure it out, and it's going to do it for you, right? Anyways, we will come back after 10 minutes. I'm going to run a timer here. The timer we're going to run. Right, we're going to take a small break. We'll come back and we'll catch up around like 12:15. Like last 15 minutes, we'll come back and we'll talk more about a lot of things I want to discuss. But yes, I'm sure you're getting the context. The whole idea is to how to interact with the AI tools, right? So it's not about how to build codes. Of course, that's an end idea, right? But how we should interact with the AI models. That's what the whole idea. Probably in next couple of days that we're going to practice. It's all common sense. It's all trying to give the model the right data, right? So let's take a small break. We'll come back and then we'll discuss more about it. All right, I'm back here, and there is a small fact over here. There is a very interesting extension. Uh, Probably you would have seen this. This is like draw.marketcalls.in. I've been using Excalibra over here, right? So it's an open source tool which I have to self-host it. Now the same tool we can use inside VS Code also, right? So that's what I thought. Like I'm showing you here. So I can go to extension. So this is the extension section where you can go and search for extension like Excalibra. So here we have the extension. I can go on already the extension is installed. So means let's say if I want to, let's say I want to put an uh, design. Let's say I want to explain certain things. So I say like design dot. You can put with a dot Excalibra file. So automatically it's gonna open that Excalibra for you, right? So here you can, let's say I'll close the terminal and then I can draw from here. I can also make this full place. So what we try to do so far is, we are the human is always in the loop, right? So human is the one who is gonna give the prompt instruction. The human is the one who gonna give the prompt. He's the one who is gonna give the context data. So maybe sample formats, sample format, or sample files we can provide, sample codes we can provide, sample codes. And provided if you are using the right model, they also can support images as well. I showed you how I had attached images. You can also attach images as well as prompt instruction. Your prompt can be text content. Your prompt can be sample codes or sample file format. So if you're having some JSON files or if you're having CSV sample files, you don't need to attach the entire CSV file. You cannot attach it, right? Because there is something called context, which we will talk about that in upcoming sessions. We'll be talking more about it. So the human is the one who is going to supply all these information. Or what we will be doing is like we will be interacting with the agentic tool. So we have the agentic tool over here. Agentic tool, right? The agentic tool is the one which is having connectivity with the large language model, LLM like ChatGPT or so right now we are using Grok fast model, right? So here it's gonna interact with the LLM model and it's gonna generate the code. It's gonna generate the code. It's not gonna generate the code in one shot, right? Some model does that. Even complex stuff like Claude code, it's having the capability to build larger code base within a single shot. It's gonna generate the code. But there are small models which doesn't have the capability. Maybe we have to give better context. So it generates the code, right? Generates the code. Generates the code. Sometimes the code produces error. So if at all the code is producing an error, right, what we have to do is we have to take the error and the human is the one who have to give the error as an input back to the agentic tool. Back to the agentic tool. If I'm getting an error, error output, at times I'll be getting the error output in the terminal, right? So I'll copy that error and I'll give it back. I'm the one, I'll take the error and I'll put that error back again to the agentic tool and I'll ask to generate the code again. This is the error I'm getting or this is the error screenshot I'm getting over here. So it can be an error output or it can be an error screenshot also. It can be an error screenshot. And finally, we try to generate the code. So we get a working solution. Until we are getting the working solution, we'll reiterate this process. Usually now models are getting pretty much better. So maybe one or two times you try, if any error is occurring, the third time you're gonna get a working solution most of the times, right? So you will be getting a working solution. So this is the iteration process that we will be doing it for a smaller task. As a task is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, our approach towards building software, it changes, right? So most of the time, if it is a simple task, the code is going to generate in one shot itself. But not every case that is going to happen. Sometimes we may miss the context. Sometimes we may not communicate with the model properly. So unless the models are not communicated properly, we're going to get some errors. Probably model itself will try to generate wrong code sometimes. So when you take that error and then we're going to feed in, the model is going to check what is missing and the model is going to get the context better and it knows where to go and fix. It goes and fixes that. And that is not done by the LLM, it's done by the agentic tool. So the agentic tool is the one, it knows how to interact with the LLM model. When I say agentic tool, the tools like the tools like Klein is an agentic tool, right? It's an agentic VS Code plugin. We also have GitHub Copilot as well. GitHub Copilot, which I don't use it, but I still install it for auto completion. And then GPT Codex, and we also have this. It's also called this Codex CLI, and Claude Code. So these are the agentic tools which knows how to interact with the LLM model. They are not LLM models, but they know how to interact with the LLM model. They know how to communicate. So how to enhance your prompt. It takes your prompt as an input and it sends it to the LLM models, communicate in a better way so that the LLMs can understand, it can generate a proper code. And what are the code it's getting? It will be putting it to the VS Code. That's what this the agentic tools does, right? That's a context I want to talk about over here. And anyways, what are the Excalibur files which I am uploading? You'll also able to access these Excalibur files as well. So these images, earlier I'm not able to share. I have to use draw.marketcalls.in, right? So that I can go and demonstrate better. But now, within the VS Code itself, there are certain things we'll be drawing inside VS Code, certain things we'll be drawing outside VS Code. So whatever we are trying to draw inside the VS Code, if we are having this extension, if you are having this VS Code extension, you'll be able to see this diagrams as well. So what is our process? What is our flow? Everything we'll be able to understand. So able to get the context. I guess I always ask this question, like, you guys are able to understand this, like what we are trying to generate. So far we are working with a very small task only. Next couple of days also we're gonna work with smaller tasks, but slowly we'll be enhancing. We'll be start slightly be getting bigger, more slightly complex approach. Ayan, Jayesh, Vishnu, Karthik, Naresh, Pradeep, Sriram, and everyone. So you guys are able to understand the context over here. Like, if yes, please type yes so that I'll get an idea that you guys are able to understand the context here. All right, Jayesh says yes. Sriram says yes. Pradeep says yes. And as I said, second half is where we're going to talk about the Python basics. So far, we're not covering any basics at all, but it will not be looking good if I don't teach the basics. So, anyways, we will be teaching the basics, but along with the AI tools. There also will be using the AI tools only. I'm not going to write not even a single line of code in this. Throughout the session, I'm not going to write any single line of code, right? All right, great. So I will close this file. So anytime you want to access, I'll be uploading these files. You can just click on that file. You should be able to see this, provided you are having the Excalibur extension enabled, right? Excalibur does a lot of things. So many times I do design software using this. I take a screenshot and then I feed it to my model, right? So yeah, you can also use Excalibur diagrams, like how your software should look like, right? So what should process what. If you're giving some clean instructions, you can take a screenshot and you can feed that as an input to your model also. All right. All right. Next thing what we are going to learn is, just give me a sec. So I'm in a meeting. I'll call you in another 15 minutes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Let's go back. So we talked about VS Code extension, right? And we can also do it in cloud-based Python environment as well, like Google Colab. You don't need to install any Python directly. You can directly go to Google Colab and then you can start using it. Google Colab, Kaggle, IBM Watson. So these are the primary tools which are quite popular because they provide free GPUs, mostly machine learning guys, data science guy, data analyst. So all those people, even traders also, they love using these tools. But however, throughout the series, we're not going to use these tools. We're going to only stick to the VS Code and Windsurf and Claude Code. So the tools what we are going to use here is, I'll tell you what are the tools that I'm going to use. Klein, I think we that's feel like it's decade away from Claude Code. So I'll tell you what are the tools that we're going to use, or what tools that you can try. Number one, Klein, we're not going to use very frequently, but I'm going to show you a couple of examples, right? So it's free, and you can also get access to free models. Free models from Open Router. Open Router are mostly learners tool. I would say like it's more of a learners tool. You can also build serious software also, but there are better models which are available in the paid section, right? So probably somebody have to pay like $15 or $20. The range is different. I'll talk about the range as well. So Open Router is free. Grok limited edition, it's still free. Grok is an inference engine, and also likewise Cerebra is also inference engine. Cerebra is also inference engine. And the second one is the next category which can do better than Klein, which comes under like Windsurf and Cursor. They also agentic tools like Klein, but Windsurf and Cursor itself, like it's their own editor, and you'll be having something like interaction with like Klein. Tomorrow I'll show you the demo of Windsurf, and probably the pricing will be around like 15 to 20 USD per month. It's worth doing the subscription because you'll be able to build even more faster, better than Klein. And the third one is like CLI tools, like Codex CLI. Codex CLI is from ChatGPT. And probably Claude Code, Gemini CLI. So these are CLI tools. Almost everybody is offering CLI tools these days. Almost every LLM providers. The LLM provider itself, they are providing CLI tools. These CLI tools will act like an agentic coding tools, which you can use inside a Windsurf, Cursor, anywhere you can use it. Even in your simple command line or terminal also, you can use this. This will be ranging anywhere between 20 USD to 200 USD per month, right? So if you're having already, if you're having a ChatGPT Plus subscription, you will be able to do the Codex CLI. Or if you're having a Claude Code subscription also, you can use the chat model as well. You can also use the Codex CLI model as well. So the Claude Code CLI, what I showed you, which is part of my Claude subscription, which I'm paying like $200 per month. I'm paying. So because we have a continuously we've been keep on building things on OpenAlgo. So we pay $200 per month to, and it's worth paying also, right? So, but if you are not a or if you're a first time programmer, then I would highly recommend you go and use Windsurf or Cursor kind of tools. If you're a first time programmer, or if you want to get an experience of coding, it's better to start over here. Slowly you can migrate to this ladder. And finally, only if you are a serious coder, right? Or even if you want to try also, you can go and try with Codex CLI or Claude Code at $20 also, you can go and try it out, but a lot of restrictions will be there. Maybe if you are a first time coder, you will not find the difference, but more bigger and bigger softwares that you're going to build, a larger code base that you're going to handle, your code base is going to be in lakhs of lines, then you may have to slowly migrate to like $100 plan or $200 plan. That depends upon your usage, right? And let me tell you, like this $100 to $200 of work will be like kind of an imagine some 10 coders are going to do the work. That what the 10 coders are going to do manually, that equivalent is what this $100 to $200 per month. So you have to treat it like an employee who is working for you for like $100 to $200 per month. That's the salary that you are trying to pay to the model, so that it is what it brings in turns is like it brings you like 10x kind of productivity, provided the human is able to handle the beast, right? So you have to learn to tame the beast. So first you have to start taming the beast using these things, try to understand the nitty-gritties, then go to Windsurf, try to build even more bigger, faster. Or you can also start with Windsurf also. There is no problem with that. These are like beast, right? So if you want to know that, I mean, if you want to control the beast, then you have to start with Windsurf and Cursor. That's the best way to start with, right? And unfortunately, Windsurf and Cursor, they do provide free models, I believe. Maybe second half I'll try to see if I can get Windsurf. I stopped using Windsurf again. Tomorrow, probably I'll try to show you like how to use Windsurf, because once Claude Code happened, right? So I have to migrate to Claude Code. I have to ditch Windsurf because I'm able to build even more faster compared to Windsurf. Windsurf also does decently better. It's not like Windsurf we cannot use it. So Windsurf also we had written like 10,000s of lines, but now I want to rapidly prototype things faster. So that's where we're going to go with Claude Code over here, right? Yeah. So that's a code editor point of view. And talking about Python libraries, Python itself quite famous for its libraries only. Now, what this library does is like it simplifies the job of the user. You don't need to know more complex things. Even if you want to use machine learning, right? These days, machine learning is like you just call a bunch of functions and you pass the data, and the model is going to learn from it. You don't need to know some rocket science. You don't need to know the underlying mathematics behind the machine learning. So something like that, there are a lot of libraries. It solves the purpose. For example, brokers provide trading libraries where you don't need to know what is happening in the API level or at an architecture level. You can just simply call the place order function and you can simply place the order, right? The same way you can process the CSV file, or you want to do a charting, or you want to download certain data using request functions, or you want to work with APIs. The Python provides the easiest way to access these features, right? And Python itself quite famous for its library. These are huge amount of library you can find for data manipulation, data visualization. You can do statistical analysis, time series analysis, database operations. You can scrap the data from the internet, and you can even use NLP tools for sentimental analysis, right? So NLTK, BERT, FinBERT. Recently, I had to write about FinBERT and ML, so machine learning kind of tools. This is one of the primary reason why libraries are quite popular, because of the ecosystem, right? So anything if you want to automate in Python very easily, you can automate. The same kind of community at the same scale is not available elsewhere. If you go and look for C++, yes, C++ is one of the faster programming language, but what is missing is like the community is hardly missing there. And Python has a very great ecosystem and very great community support because it is the most simplest programming language, right? That's where everybody want to build on top Python. And anything about machine learning, anything about data science, people mostly use ML. I mean, for people mostly use Python only. Maybe I'll show you a very interesting one, right? So I'll try to show a very interesting library, which I do use it. So this is fal.ai. So what they provide is like image models, which I showed you some time back. They provide image models, and I can go and generate images. I can generate images, videos, text to image, all those things I'll be able to generate. I'm going to show you how to generate using Python. That's what I'm going to show you here. So I'll take a model here. One of the model is like ideogram model. One of my favorite model, ideogram. You can find a lot of models, right? So these are like how LLMs will convert, answer your questions, right? Or it will be coding for you. These image models will convert your text into image, or an image into an better image. That's what it does. So they have like almost tons and tons of model they have host over here. It requires GPUs, so they have like Moondream models, Sora, ChatGPT Sora model, and so these are some of the models that I've been using it, and you can generate some videos out of it. I'm not going to generate any videos, but I'm going to show you a sample model over here. So they have like thousands of model. They have like at least. So one of the interesting model for creating images, like earlier it was Flux Pro. Flux was one of my favorite. Now I do use ideogram. So I'm gonna say like ideogram V3, right? I'm gonna say like so you can go and test it out over here. You can give a prompt. I'll say like I don't need to say generate an image and all those things. I just give a prompt. I'll say like uh, AI bootcamp for traders and investors, and then I'll say like uh, build a banner with financial icons, right? That's what I'm going to give as an input. And I'm going to say like, hey, I want the so and so size. I'm going to select what size I want. I say like, I want to have it in 16:9 rectangular image is what I want. and then I go generate an image. So this is called, it's something called its playground, right? Here, they are the service provider. They provide a service where I can send a prompt and I can generate an image. So you can see like a bootcamp for traders and investors. So it's also adding something like unlock your trading potential. It's adding some cool stuff over here. The best part is I can do this using Python. So you can, there is a Python code they are providing over here. They're also providing in different format as well. So they provide a Python code. That's a sample code, right? So the same sample code, in order to do that code, I need a library called fal client, right? So I need a fal client. Just copy this. And I'll try to run this from my local PC. First I need to install the library. So in order to install the library, we have to always use the command called pip install file underscore client. That will be installing the library. Right. So the installation is done. So once the installation is done, I can go and run this. I'll go to a new file. Let's say like I'll put in a different folder. Pal images. Pal images is the folder name. And then I'll say like generate image, generate underscore image dot py. So always the file should end with .py, and I want to paste the file. I mean, I'll paste the sample code. This is a sample code. I'll copy this, then I'll paste the code. So I'll say like this is a model it's going to use. Of course, we also have to keep the API keys over here, right? So in order to keep the file API keys, let's go and get a curl. So I have to set the file key over here. So I have to put this in a header. They are not giving the they are not giving the API where to keep the API keys. They are not giving. So I have to say I'm going to open a ChatGPT. Normal ChatGPT will do, right? I'll go to ChatGPT. I'll say like I need to keep my environmental variable. It's called environmental variable, which will be added to the header. So the header example is provided in the curl format. So it's say like you have to keep, you have to in the header key, you have to say send something called fal key over here, which I don't know how to send. So I want to keep my environmental variable fal key, where I'm going to keep the API key for the above code to work, right? So it's saying like you have to set your environmental file. So you go to your PowerShell in Windows. So set your file key. That's what I'm going to do here. There are many ways to do that, but one of the way to do here is I'm going to set my file key and I'm going to enter my API key over here. So I have to go and get an API key, right? So I'll go and get an API key. API key, I think I'll go to file.ai and from here I'll go and get my keys. I'll say like test key. I'll be deleting it anyways afterwards. So what are the key I'm getting? I'll just copy the key. Just copy the key. Go back and set it. So once the key is set, right? So success specified value has been saved. So the key is set. It's called environmental variable. So that every time this code has been calling, it try to get the environmental, it get the API key and send along with to the file, and file will be generating the image. Let's go and generate the image, right? So cd space file, right? I'll get in the file folder and then I'll try to run Python generate underscore image.py. So this is a service offered by the file. So now I have to save this. So you see that whenever I'm getting a dummy output, that means the file is not saved. If the file is not saved, it's going to show like 1 here, means one file is not saved. I click on here and control S. So that goes away. That means file is saved. Now I'll try to run again. It says like, this is the output I'm getting. It says like, set the file key ID. Supposed to be file key ID and file secret. Okay. Please set the file key environmental variable. I already set, right? Where did I set? Did I not set? Let me check. It's file key. Yeah, it's please set the file environmental variable to your API key. Okay. Yeah, I'm still getting error. So let's see what is the issue. I'll just simply, I'm gonna say like this is a command I set, and then I try to run the code. This is the output I'm getting. Right? I'll communicate back to ChatGPT. Let's see what it is missing. There are different ways, as I said, there are different ways to run the environmental variable. So if you're using PowerShell, then it's asking to try this mode. So I put in the environmental variable, it's setting the file with so and so value. Let's try this. It's giving a different method. Now run it. Yeah, now it's working. Sometimes the model is not going to get in the first shot itself. As I said, sometimes it could be second time it knows where it is making a mistake and it's going to fix the mistake. So it is generating an image URL, so which I can go and click on that, and I should be able to see the image. Yeah, so this is what AI Bootcamp for traders and investors, right? So as I said, talking about libraries, I'm going to take 5 minutes of time, and then we're going to take questions, and then we will meet in the second half. I'm sure definitely a lot of interesting things that you're going to learn about it. So the context here is there are many people who provide APIs, right? Not only brokers provide APIs on one side. So brokers, they provide API, right? We don't access the majority of the people, majority of the traders, they don't access the API directly. We don't consume the API directly. Yeah, somebody's having a question. Yeah, Naresh, you're having a question. Naresh?
Yeah, no, Rajendran.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, please, thank you.
So brokers provide API. We don't access the API directly. Right? What we do is like we use the brokers SDK. So we use the Python SDK. Python library is what we use. It's also called as Python SDK, Software Development Kit. So we can call it as Python library, or we can call it as an SDK. SDK is Software Development Kit. Software Development Kit. So that building softwares will be pretty much easier. You don't need to know about the APIs, the headers and all those stuff. So you just need to worry about only the Python function, and you can use it for automation. You can use it for trade automation. Likewise, there are many service providers who provide API. For example, OpenAI itself, they provide API. Instead of me going and typing in the chat, I can interact using my API key. I can go and set my API key, and I can access the OpenAI API. I'll be able to access. I can access their models. Whatever I'm trying to do manually, I can automate my things over here. So I can use their OpenAI library. Again, pip install OpenAI. That will be doing that. So that will be, again, I'm going to use the Python library over there, Python library, and I'm going to build some applications on top of the API, right? It could be an chat application, or it could be my own chat bot for my company, or I'm asking to do some news and sentimental analysis. Right? I can build applications on top of the Python library. Now it could be OpenAI application, or as I said, it can be FAL API also. See, now I'm going to show you in the same sketch application. I'll get back to the sketch application over here. Now in this sketch application, I'll go to the settings. I'll go to the admin dashboard, and I'll say like, hey, I want to go and set my API keys over here. So I'll go and set my API key, right? So I'll go and set the OpenAlgo API key, and also FAL API key. FAL API key sometime back only we had generated. So I'll reuse the same API key. I'll copy this. I'll go back and paste it over here, and then I'll say like, I'll test it out. So it's FAL key is valid. Likewise, I also go back and set the OpenAI key as well. So FAL key, I saved it, and then I'll save the settings. And OpenAI also, I'm going to go and get it. So we'll go to openai.com and go and log in, go to the API platform. of course, it's paid like minimum you need to buy for like some $10 or something. I'm not asking you to buy, but like I'm just trying to show you like what are the different varieties of context that we can play with. So I'll go and get my API keys over here. The same thing is what we're going to do with the brokers also. Maybe in the second part, I'll show you more automation with the brokers. So I'll go to the API key, and then I'm going to create a new API key over here. I'll say like test key, and I select a project and I'll create a key. So it gives me an API key. I'm just going to copy that and I'll come back and then I'll add to my platform, right? And I'll save it. So now we are good to go. So we're done with the basic settings with Sketch. So now I can go and generate the same thing. So the same thing, it's still using the Python, still using the file client in the back end, right? But now we are having a pretty cool web application. Let's say like I go to the same ideogram model. Now I can say like, uh, can you I mean, I'm not going to interact like that. Like I'm going to say like cat on the moon. That's it. Cat on the moon. That's it. I'll say like what model I want. I'm going to choose the ideogram model. There are different models are available. Every model has its own uniqueness. And I'll say like, I also want to bring a text. So bring a text. I'll say like cats, cat domination. And then I'll say like, hey, the image size is going to be like 16:19. I'm going to say like, I want to add some different color. I want to bring some pastel color effect to it. I want to add some light effect, and I want to add some subject focus should be on the animals, and also the background style. It should be like kind of a color gradient. And effects and filters as of now I don't want. Maybe if you want vintage kind of style, you can go and add those things, and then you enhance the prompt. What are the prompt you had given? Based upon all these instructions, it generates an enhanced prompt. Now this enhanced prompt is coming from ChatGPT, and so it means I'm sending this information. I'm not directly generating an image. Okay, so I'm just sending it to ChatGPT using API, and I'm generating this enhanced prompt. And from this enhanced prompt, I'm going to generate an image. Now this is going to send to the file, and you should be seeing this generated image from file. It takes time, like it takes some 5 to 8 seconds it'll take to generate the image, right? So it says like cat domination, and then there's a cat, and it's also on top of the moon, right? So if you don't want, you can also edit it, and then you can do that. So whatever it's there, it also gives an option to download in an WebP file or PNG file or an JPEG file. It also goes and downloads in the gallery as well. So you can also later on go back and check from the gallery as well. If you don't want, you can go and delete that file as well. So all those controls you will be able to add without writing a single line of code. This is something that I want to build. If you ask me, would I without AI, if I would have able to build such kind of tools, if you ask me, I have no idea. But I have this wild imagination. But if you're having that kind of imagination, you want to convert into a software, all you need to know is which library to use, how to use it, which tools, AI tools to use it, how to give a prompt, and how to shape things. That's the only thing that we have to learn, right? Yeah. I think throughout the season we'll be having varieties of examples. So what I try to do is in SketchMaker, what I'm trying to do, same in the backend it was running in Python, but instead of running in my local PC, I am putting everything in my server, right? So the user is asking a prompt. The user is asking a prompt over here, and the prompt goes to ChatGPT. First, it goes to the ChatGPT. I mean, ChatGPT AI or OpenAI. OpenAI's API. API. I'm interacting with the OpenAPI AI using the Python code, using the Python SDK. It's giving me an enhanced output. It's giving me an enhanced output. Giving me an enhanced prompt. Right? So using this enhanced prompt, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to generate an image. I'm trying to generate an image. I'm generating an image, and this image we are using FAL API. FAL API. We're not knowing anything about FAL API, but we are just only using the FAL SDK only. So we're using the FAL client SDK is what we are using, FAL SDK. So everywhere, what we are giving as an input is like the API key is what we are giving, and finally we're getting the generated image, right? And this is what we call as a workflow. This is a workflow automation. Something which I can do it manually by going to ChatGPT. I can go and paste it, and then I ask for an enhanced prompt, copy that, and then I can go back to I can go back to file, paste the enhanced prompt, select the model. I can do all these things manually, but here everything we're converting into a Python code. In one shot, I'm just executing the code, I'm just getting it done, right? And the best part is you can build a web application around it and you can use that tool. The same thing we can do it for the same workflow automation. This is simple workflow automation, right? But the same kind of workflow automation, we can do it in trading also. Trading also, we can do investment also, we can do that. Yeah. So I think with this, we can stop here. Again, in the second half, we'll catch up around 2 o'clock. Let me know if you have any questions. We can take questions for next couple of minutes. Anybody's having any questions? Or it's getting too heavy? Usually, I'll not go this heavy on the first session itself. I'll be starting with something smaller, but I don't know. This is something I feel like this is pretty basic stuff. So you guys are able to understand the context? Because this is a repeated thing that we're gonna do again and again, even for small tools also, big tools also. Yes, I am.
Yeah. So you are generating the images using the prompt. So my question was like, if we give the same prompt again, it will generate the same image or it will generate the different image.
See,
Just like
LLMs will
you
not
created
generate the
the
same image
moon
every
on the.
time. Let's say I'm giving the
Okay.
same prompt again. It's gonna generate a different. Okay, I think I'm on a different page now. If I'm gonna Even if I'm gonna give the same prompt to OpenAI, I'll set the same settings. All the settings are same. The output is gonna be different because uh, the LLMs have a parameter called temperature and all those things. It's not going to generate the same prompt every time. Even if I try to generate the same image, I'm not going to get the same image. So it's going to generate a different image right now. I'm using the same model, ideogram, YouTube thumbnail,
Mm-hmm.
and it's animals, studio light, pastel, and color gradient. And it's going to generate a different image, right? So it's completely different image. Maybe something similar, but it is different. But same image, if you want to have, we have something called seed. If I'm going to keep the seed
Mm-hmm.
as like 1, 3, 4, 5, right? So every time I'm going to keep the same image, I'm going to get the same person is what I'm going to get. Same person or same character. So you can get some character consistency with seed. And FAL
Okay.
itself, they have something called FAL. I mean, inside FAL, you will find something called ideogram model. Some of the ideogram model you can build character consistency, like ideogram characters. So recently they introduced some 1 month back, I think. So here you can generate consistent characters. That is possible. But whereas here, if you want to get that, you have to control it only from the seed. The seed is the one which you can say like 1, 2, 4, 5 means it will be generating a particular style of cat only. Always it generates certain set
Okay.
of cat.
Okay. So
For
we
the
need to know all these options. What is this meaning and all, right?
Yes, yes. So we'll be talking about it, but that will be like not on
Okay.
the first talk
Okay.
itself.
Okay. Got it.
That
Yeah.
definitely not a first talk. So we'll be talking about the temperature, all those parameters, what LLM offers. But I don't think that is not too important. But if you're concerned about it, yes, you need to know about those things. You need to know about temperature. Like uh, there are things. It gets more creative. Depends upon what temperature that you are setting. Or it gets too randomized output. Every time it's not going to be the same output. If you want same output also, we can control it from the API level. Yeah.
Okay.
Prithviraj is having
Thanks.
a question. Prithviraj, you're having a question? Okay. Then if nobody is having a question, I can also take questions. There are a lot of questions in the chat also. So what we had done so far, yes, let's summarize what we have done so far, and then we'll catch up in the second half around 2 o'clock, right? So we learned how to we learned how to install setup instructions for VS Code. We have done that, and then we also Python, which version mostly 3.10 to 3.13. So 3.13 is the latest version. 3.14 is the latest version, but still I'm recommending to use 3.13. 3.14 is going to work, but some places it could break because it's quite new. Some of the libraries have to catch up. So, so for time being, it's good to go with up to 13. I mean, up to 3.13. 3.14 we can use after 6 months, 3 months or 6 months down the lane, we can start using it. And the second thing, what we also learned is like we learned about VS Code extensions. Some of the code extensions are like CLI, Klein. Klein was one of my first agentic tool, which I tried. Earlier, I was using ChatGPT. And then we also learned about extensions like Jupyter. Still, we had to catch up. Second half, we'll be talking more about Jupyter, how to make use of Jupyter. And then Excalibur. So these are some of the extensions that we had used. There is also one more extension I showed you, is like Claude Code. That's also a very interesting extension. I haven't shown you yet, but maybe when in upcoming sessions, I'll show you how the Claude Code extension looks like. And then followed by that, we learned about Python libraries. Python is all about libraries, right? Python is all about libraries. Then we try to perform some basic agentic coding using Klein. We end up giving a lot of context, right? So simple context we are able to learn, and we also understand how the auto completion from GitHub Copilot, which is also an extension, GitHub Copilot. So for that, I think you may need a GitHub account, I believe. So GitHub also you can use like agentic coding tool, but somehow I'm not comfortable in generating a larger code base. And the sixth one, what we also learned is like we learned like there are certain libraries, right, which are like a kind of local one. Some of them will be interacting with the services like FAL or OpenAI. They'll be provided by the business itself. The business itself, they provide APIs. Like brokers, they provide APIs, right? So these are libraries which are provided by the brokers. We can use it for automation purpose, or we can build applications. You can build your own algo trading platforms, or you can build your own tools because they do the heavy lifting. They build the models and they give you access so that you can programmatically access those tools, and you can just build some simple controls. Now this is what we call as a wrapper. So the sketch is nothing but a wrapper which is built on top of FAL and OpenAI, right? So you just only give the control. You don't need to, you're not doing any machine learning or something like that, but you just building an application on top of this. All the machine learning is done by all the machine learning, all the heavy lifting, all the GPU hosting, all the complexity is taken care by the FAL and OpenAI. So locally also you can run. You can also run it from a business services. You can make use of it. That's a thing that we learned, and we also learned the process, right? So one of the process that we had learned is this is the process that we had learned. That is the process. Excalibur. So this is like how to interact, how to give prompt, or what kind of prompt instruction that we should give. So this is also we had learned like how to give a prompt context. What are the things that we have to provide as an input, right? So you have to treat it like a buddy developer. That is how you have to treat it. What information that you give, that is the output you're gonna get. You give a trash, output also gonna be trash. You give a reasonable context which a human can understand, which you're giving a sufficient information so that I can make use of those data. So that is what you're gonna get an better output. You're gonna finally end up getting a better working solution. You're not. There are many times you're not gonna get a working solution in the first shot itself. So it's gonna be a reiteration. Probably the first time you try to give, you understand what you are missing. So second time you correct those things. Third time you just give the errors which are thrown by the things. Finally, it's gonna fix it everything for you. But still, this is much faster compared to the manual way of coding, right? And in no time you'll be able to build stuff. So that's the key takeaway for the day. That's the final thing also. Like, treat the AI tool, agentic tool. AI tool, when I say AI tool, it is like agentic tools only, agentic tools. And agentic tool and LLMs are different, right? So LLM, you ask question, it's going to answer it for you. What to ask is what will be done by the agentic tool, right? What to ask, when to ask, that's what the agentic tool does. So treat the agentic tool plus LLM as your coding buddy. So what input you give the correct input, you end up getting a correct answer. You also end up getting a better answer. So why is it so? All those things we'll be exploring in our upcoming chapter, right? So I hope we are setting the context straight. So in second half we'll try to catch up. So Naresh is asking, are these tools are free or paid? As I said, yeah, I had given the instructions, right? So Klein is free. Free models, Open Router and Grok. Windsurf and Cursor, you can go up to like 50 prompt. You can ask for per month, I think 50 or 25, maybe it differs. 25 to 50 prompt is free to access. Codex CLI and Claude Code tools are their subscription basis, which is available under like $20, $100, $200. But if you're a beginner, you should maximum go up to like $20 per month kind of subscription. Somebody who want to try it out, they can go and try with Klein and free models like Open Router, Grok, and Cerebras. They provide a decent amount of credit so that you can build from a learning point of view. Definitely, it's good. But serious softwares, if you want to build, yeah, you should move either to Windsurf Cursor, or even more serious softwares you want to build, you have to move to Codex CLI, Claude Code, and Gemini CLI. Pricing is at every level, so you can start with free using Windsurf Cursor. Only if you are interested further to continue, you find it more valuable, only then you should go and get a subscription, right? But yes, Gemini CLI was free earlier. Not sure, but recently they had done a lot of tightening on APIs. I need to check whether Gemini CLI is going to be free or not. But they sometime back they promised 1 million free tokens every day. I'll get back on that. Like whether in that case Gemini CLI also we can use it to build software. But compared to Gemini CLI, Claude Code and GPT Codex CLI is what I found it pretty much effective. And there is also recently, there has been one more CLI which is getting popular. Many people are recommending me. I'm yet to try GLM 4.1, I think GLM 4.5, right? So they're also saying that it's comparatively as good as like Codex, but the cost is 100 times cheaper or 50 times cheaper, something like that, right? So this is from ZAI, it's Chinese model. Again, they're comparing to Claude Code. Yes, people are saying that is also pretty much good. So now it is JLM 4.6, right? So you can also use Claude Code to connect with JLM 4.6 also. I'm yet to explore on that. So I also put this in the list, but this is very cheaper. People are saying like literally the cost is like $4 or $5 per month because of this GLM 4.6. I'm yet to try, so I'm not going to do any experiment over here. I'm pretty much comfortable with Claude Code and Codex CLI. I'm pretty much comfortable with Windsurf and Cursor also to some extent. Klein, I used a long back, but I'm just giving a try. But still, as I said, my opinion is like Klein is good for building small tools. For slightly building bigger tools also Klein can do, but the challenge is like you have to give more context. Minimal context, you can use these things. Like you don't want to give too much of context, you can move to the subscription basis and you just give the context. It's going to do the heavy lifting for you, right? So Klein means you have to be pretty much comfortable. You need to have a lot of prompting techniques. You need to understand the ecosystem first. You have to start something small and start building bigger, slightly bigger. So you have to first experience with the Klein ecosystem. Windsurf and Cursor, anybody can build it. Codex, again, Codex, Claude Code, once you understand the ecosystem, it's very easy to build, right? So maybe initially it looks like, oh, it looks something like a different animal from a different planet. But once you start using it, it'll be like you can build any kind of tools. So let me pause here. We'll come back in the second half. Second half we'll start around like 2 o'clock, and we'll talk more about it. We're going to talk about the manual coding part. We'll try to understand the parts of Python, but still in using the AI tools, right? No manual coding, by the way. Thank you. So, and Naresh is also asking, to build a decent product or algo setup, do we need to take premium subscription, or it can be done with free version? See, free version also you can do. Open router models are like open router models. They're providing a lot of very interesting models like Grok, which is a paid one. You can access it via open router for a limited edition. It will be free for some time, but I don't know how long it will be free. Right now, Grok is available free over there. If you go to open router, you can find which are the top models that you can connect with. So they have like ranking. Most likely GPT, I mean, Grok Code Fast is the top model. Next to that, Claude Sonnet 4.5, which I believe, which is like kind of a paid model. So this entire open router itself consumed by all the client users only. So a lot of client users are generating tokens. They've been left, right, center. They've been playing with these tools to generate the codes, right? And GPT OS is also a very interesting model. One should explore. But Grok Code Fast is what people are using it. But somehow still I'm not comfortable with Klein yet. Klein is doing good, but the amount of time I have to spend is pretty much more. So Jay is asking, will we cover OpenAlgo platform in this course? Not much, but wherever there is a requirement, maybe sometime we may have to access some data. I'll use OpenAlgo as the source. Otherwise, I'm not going to teach any OpenAlgo here, right? But anyways, most of the OpenAlgo talk, we are doing it publicly. So it's not something which is proprietary, which is OpenAlgo is open source. So anything that we are doing on top of, most of the learnings that we are doing on top of OpenAlgo is like open only, right? We're not doing, there are certain, only when you are building strategies for execution, we are using OpenAlgo. Otherwise, any talk that we are doing on OpenAlgo is already in the public domain. Any articles that we are writing about OpenAlgo is in the public domain, right? All right. So let me pass here and I say thank you. We'll catch up in the second half around 2 o'clock sharply. Thank you. Bye bye.